Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Oh, Buck, I don't know, man. I think Ryan beat you on my screen. It shows that car wash guy beat you in this morning. Looks like Ryan's first, Buck is second, and Western Star is third. Good to see everybody. Morning, Jim. Good morning, Cindy. What's going on there, Fast Eddie? Long time, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Alberta, Canada. Good morning. Look at that. Well, that's where we're sitting right now. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at a beautiful, beautiful southern Alberta sunrise. I'm about 40 miles east of you, bud. about 45 miles east of you. Running dedicated, Eddie. Fuck, good for you. Hey, you hang on to that, man. You hang on to that. Another day in the 51st state, Alberta. I'll give it to you. You guys got good sense of humor. What's going on there, Craig Rat? Iron Brew container on his re-up. I was talking with Craig Rat yesterday, like just texting back and forth yesterday, and he offered to send me a 40-foot container of Iron Brew. He knows how much I love that shit. So, no, he sent me. He offered me a 20-footer. I told him to send a 40-footer. Morning, dog. Damn good to see you, man. Always a pleasure. I'm about to burst with everything I need to tell you, by the way. I'm not going to say nothing publicly until we talk. Fuck, Buck. I know I was supposed to call you, but my day went to fucking shit in a handbasket yesterday. It really did. SST, always a pleasure seeing you walk through. Thanks for being here, man. We got nothing special going on. You know the deal. Just watching the sunrise. It's rising earlier and earlier as the season goes. So in order for me to catch it come over the horizon, I got to be out here at like 10 after 6. And let me tell you guys, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Sorry. So you know, this is the bad. Actually, I'm late today. I'm about an hour, probably about an hour, 45 minutes behind today. So it's going to happen by end of summer. Alberta can't afford not to hate. Can't afford not to. I hate to say. Well, here's the thing about Alberta, Bull, is all the cards are in Alberta's hand. They truly are. Alberta's got the upper hand here. They can afford to keep doing what they're doing and keep supplying Canada and being the province that they are, or they can break off. Either way, like I said, I won't cry if it happens. I really won't. But I really don't want to see my country break up. $40 of 3-liter bottles and pint cans. Oh, I'll take that. I'll take that. Excuses. Yeah, whatever. Skynet, good to see you, man. I'm doing all right this morning. Dragged my ass this morning, and let me tell you, absolutely dragging my ass this morning. And it, coming from a guy that's waiting to go back to work, right? Like, I really got nothing going on, and I still couldn't get out of fucking bed this morning. Hey, Holler, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're trucking today. Hate from Uganda. Well, we don't need the hate, but if you're from Uganda, welcome. Thanks for popping in from Uganda. What do you think are the chances of getting away with a small bank robbery? Know your location. Make sure you've got your escape routes scouted properly. You're not going to do it alone, so make sure the people that you're robbing with, that your team is, make sure that they're all on board and everybody's on your side. Did I get the pics? I didn't get any pics, Holler. I didn't get anything from you. No. So the answer to that is no. Sunrise here was at 6:40. Yeah, damn. America needs to break up into provinces. It would solve a lot of things. Like, we've only got, I don't know, what do we got, 10 provinces? The whole country's got 10 provinces and 3 territories. I'll take a 40-foot container of Becker's chocolate milk. Oh, Quinn, I don't know if you're a young guy. How do you remember Becker's? I think there's still the odd store around in Ontario. There's not a lot of them. And have a good alibi. Cindy, exactly. Have a good alibi. And don't listen to me. I'm telling you how to rob a bank. Don't rob. Don't use weapon. Obviously, weapons that can be tracked. Wipe your weapons clean. Take the numbers off them, and don't use the real ones. Get the pay the money and find a guy and get your weapons. What is that called when they do that? They're digitally printed or laser print, not laser printed. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. Because those ones there will go through a metal detector and won't set the metal detectors off. So, Rob, I have no desire at all to go back to Ontario anytime soon or anytime later. Western Star's throwing $7 at us, man. Appreciate $7 Canadian. Woohoo! I'll take that. Appreciate that, Western Star. Always a pleasure, man. Check your spam when you have a minute. Okay, I'll do that. I'll double check that. 3D, thank you, dog. 3D printing. You can actually get your weapons 3D printed nowadays. So if you can do that, you know, if you're gonna rob a bank, you better have some money to start with before you rob the bank, and you better make sure what you're going after is worth it. Where everyone knew in here that wasn't part of the last year's beard shaving charity, meet Quinn Taylor. He graciously donated the cornhole boards that he donated money for last year. Eric, absolutely. Absolutely. Quinn was the big winner of Mr. B's cornhole boards last year. And instead of taking them and doing what he wanted, he graciously donated them to Forgotten Angels. And he won those boards by having the highest donation on the boards. I don't remember. Quinn, do you remember what the donation was? Or Buck, do you remember what Quinn's donation was on that? I'm not 100% sure. RSK, good to see you. Hi, how you doing? Anybody else need to know how to rob a bank? Snatching, there you go. There you go. Well, the problem with that, Tyrannus, is you got to snatch a lot of purses. Right? You got to snatch a lot of purses, dude. And then your chances of getting caught are a little higher. Somebody's going to see it. If you rob a bank properly, you get bang for buck. Everybody who donated towards the cornhole boards was put on a random wheel selector. Actually, yeah, Buck, you're absolutely correct, because I think it was a minimum donation of whatever. And then you bought, I think it was, what was it, $20 or something per slot on the wheel. And then everybody donated, and I think, Quinn won it, so. My relatives were the Dalton gang that ran with Jesse James. Well, you come from good bank robbing heritage then, John. Oh, look at this. We've got shots fired. The more donations toward the board, the more slots you got on the wheel. Yeah, that's right. $20 per slot. Yeah. Yeah. I think the boards were worth 20, like if Mr. B sells them, they were top of the line boards that he made, and I think they were worth retail about 500 something bucks American. And he graciously donated them to us, and yeah, and then Quinn won them and donated them back down to Forgotten Angels. Hopefully they're getting well used. Good morning, kids. No sense in robbing a bank when you've already been caught, thanks to social media and Flock. That's a good point, too. If you're going to rob a bank, erase your social media. Get off the internet about a year beforehand. Good morning, Sterling. I tuned in for about 25 seconds last night on Snorelord. I got up for me it was not the middle of the night, but I got up at one point to go to the bathroom, and I saw the notification, so I quickly looked at it, and you were what the hell were you talking about? I think the evolution of man or something. You were talking about all the steps, and my head was just like, holy shit. And the music was, EDM music, so sorry, I couldn't hang around. Hello from South Africa. Man, South Africa, we'll take that. Welcome in from South Africa. Boards for $570. There you go. Greetings from Peru. We'll take that. Your audio is fucked, so you deleted it? The audio didn't sound too bad. Mind you, I didn't have it cranked up, and I didn't have earbuds in, or I didn't have my hearing aids in, so I couldn't really hear all that well. But I was in the bathroom, like our bedroom has an ensuite, so I wasn't about to crank the volume with my girl laying in bed there sleeping, so it wasn't too bad. I was more interested in sleep. Yeah, the cornhole boards were valued. I think they raised about $2,200 or $2,500 alone. Like that wheel that we did. I think the boards alone raised $2,200 or $2,500. StreamYard can be donkey sphincter sometimes. Yeah, I know. I was dealing with it the other day there. Yeah, boys and girls, take it easy on the spam today. I think this is day 5 for me doing lives. The brain's starting to get a little mushy, if you know what I mean. The brain's getting a little mushy and the mouth's getting a little tired. If you want to come in and you got a burning desire to say something, hey man, come on in to say it. All I ask is that you very kindly respect each other. You can say whatever you want to me, within reason, but you know what? If you're gonna just spam, the moderators are gonna just time you out, and you're gonna get a warning the first time. You'll get timed out the first time. Second time, you might get a second, depending on what you're saying and what you're doing. You might get timed out again, but after a third one, they're gonna stomp you, and they're just gonna get rid of you. So. Today's menu: 2 over easy eggs, 4 slices of bacon, 8 ounces of sirloin, medium rare. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. TJ, will you marry me? TJ, please. Holy Christ. I just want someone to make, all I want is I want a little cuddle time, and I want breakfast. I want breakfast like that every morning. Strike 3, you're gone. Freeway, good to see you. Plays on the freeway. Long-time subscriber, long-time follower. We appreciate that. I think Freeway's been with us since the channel started as well. Patrick, great to see you, man. Great to see you. Got another beautiful day. Yeah, today up here, oh, let me tell you, Sterling, today would be a good riding day. We get up here today, man. Get on the bikes today and we'd be up in the mountains. We'd definitely be up in the mountains, man. Good morning, Jason. Good to see you, man. Thank you for all your valuable input. We really do appreciate it. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. I'll take the view. Thank you very much. Jason Rules comes in and my algorithm gets pushed. Poof, thank you. Quite the chatty little guy he is. You guys, with anything that he's doing, just let it go. Let it go. There's nothing he can say that's going to hurt my feelings or hurt me or, you know, there's nothing. Just let it go. It's all good. It's annoying for you guys to watch, and I totally get that, but don't worry about it. Cindy is also from South Africa. Cindy, do you mind saying do you mind saying where you're from in South Africa? South Africa is a big bloody place, man. Agreed. Sterling. ABF did the same right after the big renewal contract, and they did it in 2023. Sorry, yeah, Sterling said something there. I can marry you for heterosexual reasons, but I could make. Okay. Long before the tariffs. Okay, Sterling. Yeah, 20,000. UPS laid off 20,000. I've not heard of anything. I've not heard of anything like that happening in Canada yet for mass layoffs. Pretoria. Wow. I'm going to look that up, Cindy. I will look that up. Pretoria. Actually, here, I'll just take a quick screenshot of that so I go back and I'll remember to look that up. I kind of like to know where you guys are from, you know? It's kind of cool. You guys are from all over the bloody world, man. I think just about every country is represented in here, you know? Every country is represented and represented well, and I really like that. I really appreciate that. I think it's very, very cool that, you know, we can do a stream. If somebody had told me years ago that you'd be able to sit and do a stream, or you'd be able to stream at all, you know, or you'd be doing it on a phone. So, but I find it interesting. I like to know where you guys are from. Excuse me, I'm going to grab a mouthful of coffee here if you don't mind. South Africa is about 3 times bigger than Alberta. Yeah, I'll say. Maybe even a little more than that, man. Controlled decline. Greetings from Germany. Zhao. I don't even know if I said that right. Oh, that's good. That is some good shit there. It is not the best coffee in the world, Tim Hortons. There are coffees out there and places out there you can get like real good coffee, but I'm telling you, when you've grown up drinking Tim Hortons doubles, it's like holy shit. It's like infusing your blood. And West Philadelphia, born and raised. Yeah, okay, TJ, I want to see you play some b-ball. I want to see your ass out on that court there, TJ. You go give them hell. You go out, you make a video. I dare you. You go out and make a video of you playing basketball. And I'll come down, I'll post it and I'll come down and play with you. I got to get out of this comfortable bed and do do things, inappropriate things. Well, you're supposed to do those while you're in the bed. Or maybe not. Maybe the reason that you're in the bed has already got up and gone to work. There's our boy Tyke. Another fine, proud Brit. Good to see you, Tyke. Damn good to see you, man. Morning, Greg. Another Butte sunrise. Yeah, man. We're knocking them off here. We're knocking them off. I'm glad to say that, you know, I do these streams. I do 5 or 6 in a row, and then I take a couple of days off. And I'm kind of glad that, you know what, for the most part, we get really good weather out here. Believe it or not, I was a good basketball player in my younger years, but football was my specialty. I was good in baseball and wrestling. I was a ball player. I didn't play football. I played football my junior year in high school, and I didn't find it to my liking. But since the time I could walk, I've always had a baseball glove and a bat and a ball of kicking around. And then as I got older, I got into competitive. Like I was playing rep. I played rep ball all through my younger years and into my teen years, and then in my later teen years, I played even at a higher level of rep ball. And then women and cocaine derailed me. Who knows? I could have been the next New York Yankee. You never know. But you know, drugs, alcohol, and women absolutely derailed that. There's more positions out of bed. You guys are right on this morning. Looks like the Brits are going to start talking to each other. So if anybody doesn't know what the hell they're saying, that's okay. Neither do I once they start talking to each other. How dare they have the nerve to actually sit there and speak English, eh? My passion is hunting and is fishing and bird hunting. I do like hunt game like deer and elk, but it's a pain in the ass nowadays. Here, getting the tags, it's expensive. You know what? I'll be honest with you, TJ. I'm not sure what the tags or what the cost is up here in Canada to hunt. We've got everything you can think of to hunt, right? We've got elk, we've got deer, we've got everything up here. Depending on what end of the country you're at or where you're at, but I'm not sure what the cost is for actual hunting, because I know you need tags, you need your license, you need your, you know, all that kind of shit. So yeah, call me. Oh yeah, you two are gonna hook up later. Good. It's difficult to understand the Queen's English. It's like listening to retards fuck a football. Yeah, exactly. It's like watching two monkeys fuck a football. And then Sterling, you're sitting on the sidelines watching these two try to talk to each other, and you feel like a monkey doing a math problem trying to figure it out. Football, soccer is, thank you, Tyrannus. I was trying to be gentle, right? Soccer is considered a women's sport in the States. We don't want to insult. I think Cindy's the only female we've got walking through here right now. We don't want to insult Cindy. We don't want to send her packing. I kind of like having her around. She's been back all week. The Queen was kind of hot 85 years ago, wasn't she? She was. You look at the pictures of her, never mind 85 years ago. You look at the pictures of the Queen during World War II. Damn, I'd have tapped that. Damn good looking woman's sport though. You know what? I can't watch it. car wash. I can't watch soccer, whether men's soccer. I can't watch a game where they run around for an hour killing each other and the score is 1-0. You know. Even if it's a good look, even if it's a bunch of women out there, I just still can't do it. I still can't watch soccer. Brian, stop using your dirty laugh. You're turning Susie on. Hey, it's going to benefit you. It ain't going to help me any. Oregon has made it frustrating. You must be picked in a drawing for elk. The deer season is limited unless you use a bow. Natives here can take deer, elk, goat, bear, and ram yearly for zero cost. Well, what are you waiting for there, Chief? Strap your fucking headdress on and get out there with your bow. Goofy bootlicker, that's the other thing. Have you ever seen more dramatic fucking athletes in your life? Right? Soccer players. They get a little nudge. You know, somebody gives them a little nudge. Next thing you know, the guy or the girl's got, 10 feet of air and they're doing tumbles and they're, oh my God, look what, it's like, holy fuck. Go look at hockey. Go look at hockey. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that was good. Same with basketball players, right? You watch the NBA. I can't sit down and watch it. And I played a little basketball as well, but I just couldn't do it, man. I can't watch basketball. And again, there's maybe you might see some elbows fly and whatever like that, but it's like, oh, come on. All I would hear is look at the honey running around like the YMCA. There's nothing wrong with that. The honky. The honky running around the YMCA. No, well, you don't creep the YMCAs. That's how you get police attention. Real sport is the one where they need armor not to hurt themselves. Actually, you know what? That's not true, because if you look at fucking rugby, holy shitballs. Now I never played rugby, but I used to watch it, and I used to, up till about 7-8 years ago, I used to watch rugby. Now that's a sport, man. Those guys are out there, and they are literally, like, they got no equipment, they got no pads, they got no helmets, and those guys take some hits that make some NFL hits look pretty lame. I'm going to tell you. Yeah, there you go. Tyrannus has the right idea, right? Women's football, or women's rugby is where it's at, fellas. Women's rugby or hockey. Yeah. There are more injuries in a fucking rugby game than there are anywhere else. Women's rugby shorts. I think Tyrannus is getting turned on here. See what somebody started here? I've never played hockey, but I can skate. Rugby was big where I grew up in the 80s and 90s. A fun sport is lacrosse. Lacrosse is vicious sport. Vicious fucking sport. Lacrosse is Canada's national sport, believe it or not. You would think hockey is, but it's not. Lacrosse is our national sport. And it is a fucking tough game. I don't know a single guy. I didn't know back in the day. I didn't know a single guy that played rugby that did not have permanent damage to his forearms and his shoulders and everything, just from the slashing and the hits. And those guys aren't even on ice, eh? Those guys run. You give a lot of credit to soccer players who spend hours running around. Fucking watch a rugby game. Those guys run. Yeah, it is. Or roller derby. Roller derby isn't a sport. Sorry, dog, I'm going to call you on that. Roller derby's not a sport. It's an activity. It's an activity. No, I don't watch cricket. I'd rather watch somebody play croquet. Viva la Mexico! Master Dodo, it's good to see you. Although I did try I did stand in one time and take with what do you call those bats that they play in cricket? Whatever, those fucking paddles. Just as a joke, I did step in one time and a friend of mine played cricket, and I was watching and hanging out, and it was a practice, so I took a couple. I couldn't hit the ball. When the guy was throwing it and he bounces it off the ground, he puts a spin on it. There's not a chance. He threw about 20 balls at me, and I didn't connect with one of them. Not one. I viewed a lacrosse game for the first time back east in the 80s between Syracuse and Rutgers. Loved it. Syracuse won. Yeah, it's a tough sport. You know, you sit and you think about it, right? Goalies in hockey, you know, you're standing in front of 100-mile-an-hour plus slap shot. But those guys with those lacrosse balls, those balls are Indian rubber. And let me tell you, man, that fuck, you got to be paid well or an absolute fucking, have a death wish. Much like a goalie does. My all respect to an NHL goalie or any hockey goalie. If you're crazy enough to stand in front of that and try to stop it, you're nuts. Even with the pads. What about Brazilian female volleyball? That's a sport. Yeah, okay. Okay, you call that whatever you want. That's free entertainment is what that is, Bog-Eyed. That's free entertainment, baby. A true sport is darts, pool, and 12-ounce curls. Well, TJ, I don't know if you call it a sport, right? Darts, I love watching darts, believe it or not. People would go, well, how can you watch, a dart tournament on TV? I fucking love it. The precision and the skill that those guys have at that level is phenomenal. And I play darts. I've got a dartboard. I've always had a dartboard in my garage or in my house, and I play darts. But watching those guys, that's a different level, eh? But is it a sport? I don't know. Same with pool. And that's the other thing. I don't know you can call it a sport where you can sit there and openly drink and get bombed. And the more they drink, the fucking better they get, man. It's absolutely incredible. The guy starts out the dart tournament and he's stone cold sober. The guy who wins it is absolutely shit-faced fucking hammered. I played rugby up to being 18 and then got hit by a massive forward, came to 10 minutes later and decided it wasn't for me. Well, that's all it would take, eh? As a general rule of thumb, I'd rather watch women afield in spandex than men any day of the week. I'm no homo. Well, that was the fucking thing, right? It's funny as hell because you sit and you think about football players, right? Like, and this is kind of what happened. And it's I'm gonna tell you, don't judge me, but you're gonna fucking judge me, whatever, right? So I played football for my grade 9 year in high school, my first year, my junior year, and then part of the second year in grade 10, and then the same thing. It was like, you know what? I'm not out here getting the shit beat out of me and da-da-da-da-da. And at that time, it would have been like 1984, 85. At that time, that's when they introduced co-ed cheerleading, right? So they allowed guys that each cheerleading team would have 2 or 3 guys because they needed somebody that could toss the girls, right? Get them up in the air and throw them and everything like that. So I quit playing football and became a cheerleader, and the whole team, everybody I knew, they were like, oh my God, you've switched sides, you're such a homo, and oh fuck. And my reasoning to them was simply this, okay? You guys go out there and play football and put on a good show, okay? I appreciate that. But you got a bunch of guys out on a field wearing tight spandex pants, tackling each other below the waist and wrestling to the ground. And then when you're done, you pick them up, and what's the first thing you do? You pat them, everybody pats you on the ass. Me, I'm on the sidelines with 10 women, and I'm throwing them in the air, and I got my hands all over them, and you're calling me the homo? I don't think so. I got my hands on your girlfriend more than you do, and you're calling me the homo? I don't think so. I don't think so. Now, mind you, my cheerleading career wasn't all that exciting either, but I was one of the first. There was, I think, 4 guys that tried out, and I was one of the 2 that got it. Only because I had the strength and the upper body strength to do the things that they wanted to start doing. Spandex is tight, stretchy material worn for swimsuits, sport shorts, and old guys on beaches to control the, the hanging fruit. It's not a problem I've got. I don't own any spandex yet. Yet. Tentative word there, Bull, is yet. It's just a matter of time, though, eh? Nobody gets it. Nobody, doesn't matter who you are. At some point, you're going to hit that number that year, and you're going to sit down on a park bench and realize your boys are hanging out. You can only hope that there's nobody around when that happens. I was on meds to stop from having fits. Yeah. Well, when you're, I would have been 16, 17 back then when I was doing that. So that's called a raging case of hormones, is what that was. Yeah, a banana hammock, exactly, Greg. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. I haven't got my banana hammock yet. Greg, you're a few years older than I am. Maybe you got one, eh? Maybe guard dog. Maybe guard dog's got his banana hammock all set up and ready to go. I don't have mine yet. I think I'm just gonna wait, and when I'll let my girl decide, and when it shows up in the mail, I'll know it's time, right? When it shows up from Amazon, I'll know it's time. Banana hammock facts. What? Only in my chat, eh? Only in my chat can you go from talking about, 454 big blocks to fucking banana hammocks. Jesus Christ, what are we doing here, man? Amshi, good to see you. Damn good to see you. No banana. Oh, here we go. Now we're going to... Here we go. The big old Florida boys bragging here. Morning, Jason. Good to see you, man. I'll bring mine with me, and on a nice day, I string it out on a catwalk behind the cab of my truck. Holy fuck, Buck. That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, Jesus. That's fucking funny as hell. What is a banana hammock? Frosty, Google it. Time to smoke some reefer. Ocean American Bully. Hey, man, if you've got it, light it. Blaze it up, baby. Get it going. I gave up playing rugby when my buddy was killed and his neck was broken when the scrum collapsed. I'm telling you, it is a dangerous sport, man. There is a lot of injuries coming off of a rugby field. Ocean American started something here. I guess he's the first one to blaze up. Jason's going to follow suit. There we go. Like I say, depending on the time zone you're in, guys. For me, it's 8 o'clock. It's 7:59, so let's say 8 o'clock in the morning, Alberta time. But a lot of you guys are in different time zones, so if you've got it, light it. If you can drink it, get the top off and get it into you. Yeah, it kind of puts the whole nut swaying in the breeze in a whole new perspective. Yeah, it does. I got some chocolate kish, X Jack Hare. I've been out of the game so long, I don't know what the fuck that is. I know what it is, but I wouldn't know what it was. Let's go. Same here in Calgary. Like I said earlier, from Calgary, I'm about 45 miles east of you, man. I'm out in Strathmore. And right now I'm sitting at the very eastern end of Strathmore watching this sun come up. 3 p.m. over there in Great Britain. Good for you. Atomic sour grapefruit. There you go. Get it lit. You're a bottle life. 10 a.m. in New York. Yeah, you guys are 2 hours ahead of us. Yeah, you take an injury like that, you lose your life playing a fucking sport. Yeah, that's serious. That's serious. And I'm surprised, actually, in all the years, that I've been alive watching sports and hockey, lacrosse, rugby, that there have not been more. Because you know what? Let's face it. You got a hockey player. He's skating on a blade, and we've all heard the horrific stories that have come out of guys that have had accidents where a blade went awry. They got blades, and they're carrying a fucking weapon, right? So, surprised we don't hear more. Yeah, I was 15 at the time. Yeah, that'd be a hard one to see there, Crag Rat. I saw the ball swinging in the breeze. I saw the crack open and the leg go in. If that ain't acknowledged, I will pay you $10. Oh, fuck, you guys are killing me here. It's raining today and it's raining there in Sudbury. Well, you deserve that. If you live in Sudbury, you deserve it. Hey, Greg, at least you ain't shoveling it, man. Fucking Sudbury. Dude, what's today? The 6th of May? May was 6th or 7th? I don't even know what day it is, but it's the 6th. Realistically, at any time, you could get buried under half a foot of fucking snow living in Sudbury, dude. Buddy just got killed last year accidentally with a skate in the hockey game in Europe, and they tried to pin him with manslaughter. Holy Jesus Christ! I don't even think there's a fine line there. You can't. If it's a hockey, unless it was absolutely deliberate, like you can see that this guy absolutely went at this guy and on purpose to make that happen. You can't do that. You can't do that. Have you seen this smack? Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah. Holy shit, Tyrannus. You know who owns that? Dana White from the UFC owns that, eh? He owns that. Is that the dumbest fucking thing you've ever seen? And I say that with all honesty. I've watched it. I've absolutely watched it. Like, that is fucking insane. You're going to stand there with your hands behind your back holding that stick, and you're going to allow somebody to wind up and clock you? Holy, you want fucking brain damage. You want brain damage. Although I do kind of enjoy when they wrap it down and they do the slow-mo, and you actually get to see the moment of contact when the hand hits the face. Holy shit, man. It is insane. That is absolutely insane. I am not signing up for any of that. Let me tell you that. We had ice 2 weeks ago. I had snow here not even 2 weeks ago. Less than that, I had snow. It was 28 degrees the night before. We woke up and there was fucking, the car was covered. I had to brush the snow off the car. So, yeah, it's called slap fights. Jason, thank you. I can't say, but apparently, eardrum suicide. Exactly, TJ. It's insane. It's insane. I don't even see the entertainment value, but man, is it huge. It is absolutely freaking huge. And I say huge, I mean like Dana's making a boatload of money on it. What's hard for me to watch, the women is one thing, right? Well, women is watching, but when you see the guys, like Bull, when you see a 350-pound guy wind up and you know it's coming, how do you stand there and just take that, right? That's insane. Well, you know what? It is crazy what sports have, but what's crazy is what people will watch. TKO does not own slap fights. No, Dana White owns that. Dana White owns that. Watch Eddie Hall, a world strongman, do a slap contest. Oh, fuck that. If Eddie Hall wound up with every ounce of strength that he had and slapped me, my head would land somewhere in Africa, right? You telling me that these guys are going to have they're not going to have eardrum problems, eye socket problems, nasal fucking problems, jaw problems? I mean, like, what are you signing yourself up to? You really, like, what are you signing yourself up to? That is insane. Like, what are they paying these guys to do this? I don't know what the payday is on this, but it better be damn good, because you got to know that, you know, and that's the other thing. Your career, if you want to call it that, in slap fighting, it's not like you're going to have like an NHL player, an NFL player, where you're going to have a 10, 15-year career. Like, you're good for what? A month? A month maybe? Broken neck problems. Yeah, exactly. If Eddie Hall hit me, it would be a free flight to the UK. I just stand in the direction I wanted to land, you know? I love seeing 350-pound dudes slap tiny 120-pound dudes into oblivion. Oh. In a sense, you feel sorry for them, but in the other sense, you don't. You signed up for it. You knew what you were getting into, right? I would hate to see the clause or the waiver that you have to sign. You better have like a team of lawyers go over that, because I guarantee you, if you're going to get into that, you're signing a waiver or some kind of clause or some kind of contract that says that you can't go back after anybody. If Eddie Hall was to slap you, you can't go back and go after Eddie Hall for anything. Let me tell you. The downside of slap fighting is you cannot protect yourself. Well, that's the thing, right? It's you're literally standing there holding on to that stick and praying to God that, you know, you're going to wake up in a semi-conscious state and your fucking brains aren't scrambled. Exactly. You're going to come out of that with, Jason, you're coming out of that with traumatic brain injury. Exactly. Frosty got it. There you go. There's no goddamn way you could do that for more than a couple of really good shots. Like I said, though, I do enjoy when they do the slow-mo, when you see that moment of contact and you watch the person's face just absolutely crumple. I got a TBI. Oh. And I've been known to do some pretty crazy, well, same thing, Buck, you know. In my life, I've been known to, you know, here, hold my beer type deal. You know, don't tell me I can't do something, you know, but just be tougher. Cart shirt, go ahead and try it. I don't give a fuck how tough you are. You know, you may win or whatever, or you may be still standing, but the long terms of that is like, Jesus Christ, you are going to take some kind of brain damage. You're going to take something. You really are. It's called STI now. What the hell's, I don't know I know what TBI is. What's STI? Something traumatic injury? I think it's sexy. What, when you watch, like, especially the women, when you watch the hand hit the face and the face crumples up? Oh, there ain't nothing sexy about that. Let me tell you something, man. Even I cringe. You know, like muscle up, buttercup? Well, I don't think muscles has a whole lot to do with it. Maybe your neck muscles, your shoulder muscles, obviously that'll all come into play when you're taking a slap of that degree. But fucking, I don't give a fuck if you're Eddie Hall. If somebody's bigger and stronger than you and they slap you and somebody hits Eddie Hall, he's gonna go down. He is. Ronzo, what state are you in? I'm in Alberta, Canada. I'm a Canadian. We're up in Canada here. We're watching the sunrise. MMA is brutal. They literally choke the breath. Put the dark choke all, and what the hell? And his back muscles were popping when he put on the choke. I used to watch MMA religiously, like the first 15 years of it. And then I stopped watching about 3 or 4 years ago. I really did. I enjoyed it. I never paid for it to come into the house. I always found that it was always best that there was always a local bar wherever I lived that would pipe it in. So it's always good to grab a bunch of the boys or grab a group of people and go out and watch that. Used to love GSP, probably still the GOAT. You know, John Jones, he's still active. I don't know when he's going to fight next. Supposedly, he's supposed to fight this year. And that's going to, who's he fighting? What the fuck's the guy's name? Fuck, I know it too. It'll be a good fight. It'll be a good fight. John Jones has got, I guess he's got arguably, he's got a dog in the fight for arguably the best of all time. You know, he's got a bit of a taint on his career is a little tainted here and there, but you still got to give the man credit. You really do. You got to give the man credit for what he's done. He's undefeated. He's the champ. He's a two weight division champ. So you got to give credit for that. Aspinall, thank you, Jason. You think he's ducking him? I don't know, man. I think what he's doing is he knows that his career is winding down. And I'll be honest with you, I think, honestly, he knows the Aspinall fight's going to probably be his last big one. And he's cashing out. I think that's what he's doing. But GSP for GOAT, yeah, I agree with that. George has a couple of defeats, and he has one very questionable win over Johnny Hendricks. That one that he won, but you looked at the interview afterwards. You know, Johnny Hendricks sat down and he didn't have a fucking scratch on him, and GSP looked like a punching bag. He was bleeding from places he didn't know he had. You know. Jones has the skill. He's very, very skilled. And I think yes, he's got the skill, but he's not one where the skill was trained into him. He's a naturally skilled athlete. And then you put the training on top of that, and it sharpened those skills for John Jones. The guy is naturally gifted. He really is. Smart fighters know when to quit, and I think that's what I think Jones is doing there, dog. I think that's what he's doing. He knows that Aspinall is going to be as big as probably his last big one, and he's cashing out, and he'll probably get it. And you know what? I'm going to watch it. Even if I got to pay for it and pipe it into the house to watch it, I will watch that. Same when George came back, you know. And he beat Michael Bisping there for the middleweight title. He went up a weight class and he got the middleweight title and then retired again. I was disappointed that George retired again. But on the other hand, you know, it says a lot about the man. He can be out of the game as long as he was, right? Torn ACL, had surgery, Came back, trained, took some time off. He still came back and beat Michael Bisping. And don't get me wrong, Michael Bisping's no pushover. Bisping wasn't a pushover then, he's probably not now. Anyone that failed a drug test for PEDs once or multiple times can't be in any GOAT convo. And Hendricks was juiced to the max when he beat up a GSP and still lost. Yeah, I will agree to that. Johnny Hendricks has had, he's notorious for, he's had, two or three failed drug tests? And I don't know how many times he's missed weight, right? He didn't make weight. Like, what a shitty way to fucking lose, because you lose half your purse right there by not making weight. While on this topic, I was able to watch the Randy Couture-Lesnar fight when I was in Iraq. Via live stream. That was pretty good. Randy Couture, that guy was like an Iron Man. He fought right up into his later years. And that guy's a fucking Iron Man. A very skilled Greco wrestling, fantastic fighter, durable. I don't know how many times, or if any at all, that Randy Couture got knocked out. I don't think he ever got knocked out. I think he was submitted a couple times or what. I know that he went the distance a lot. a lot. And you can tell, but look at his face, right? Look at his face. Holy shit, man. GSP never popped. I heard a very good source that Lesnar was juiced up with his fight with Randy also. I heard the same thing, that Brock Lesnar was on the juice. I don't know, man. When you look at that guy, go back to when he was wrestling in Minnesota and he was the state champion. And then what did he win? He won state champ in Minnesota, and then he won, I don't know, fucking some other championship or whatever. Even back then as a teenager, the guy was a horse, man. The guy was a fucking natural freak of nature, and he wasn't taking PEDs back then, right? I can guarantee you that. He was not taking any kind of fucking juice back then. And even then, I've watched several of his college fights. He was just a goddamn bull. Lyoto Machida knocked him out cold. Chuck knocked him out. Lesnar knocked him out. Okay, I'm wrong. Oh, there you go. I'm wrong. I remember Lyoto Machida knocking him out. He knocked him out with that front face kick. That was pretty impressive. I don't remember Chuck knocking him out. And did Lesnar knock him out, or did Lesnar just ground and pound him and the ref called it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Lesnar cleanly knocked him out cold. Jason, more plates, more dates. Science-based interview is a lie about John Jones. Yeah, Jones is a beast, Frosty. He really is. Look, when Brock fought Overeem or Mark Hunt, he tested positive for 2 kinds of juice. Brock was on elevated test. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Although, actually, I am kind of surprised, because a guy with that kind of natural ability, because he's naturally gifted, he's a naturally great wrestler. His fighting skills, his Brazilian jiu-jitsu skills are horrendous, right? All you got to do is get Brock on the ground, and you've got a fighting chance. New fight coming, Ayala versus Machida. What is that? Makhachev in June. I don't know who Makhachev is. Sorry, man. Like I said, I stopped watching a few years ago. I lost interest in it. I did. I think for a couple of years it got too like WWE wrestling type. So maybe they've dialed it in and it's a better watch now. Like I said, the last time I watched a real serious fight and like really took interest is when George fought Michael Bisping. And then I kind of just went, you know. Is it wrong to use any illegal substance in any competitive sport, not only MMA? It's you know what? If they've set a guide and a boundary, or they've set rules for any sport, and you're breaking them and giving yourself an unfair advantage, then I don't think that's fair. You know, bottom line, I don't think it's fair. If you and I are wrestling, or you and I are fighting, and I'm juiced up, and I've got performance-enhancing drugs in my system, and while I'm fighting you, that allows me to sustain more damage and recover quicker than you. How is that a fair fight? If everybody's playing on a level playing field, then I say, yeah, that's good fighting. That's good fit, and that's good fair fighting. But if some guys are juicing and some guys aren't, how fair is that? Car wash guy is back. I'm back, baby. Here you go, brother. Glad to see you. I quit watching as a gambler because it's all rigged. Oh, Tyrannus, I don't know. I could say you've got a case for certain, I guess, in a certain era. I think maybe back 10 years ago, I could say that I'm pretty sure that I watched a couple of matches where, like, come on, man, it was fucking scripted. You knew, you could call it before it happened type thing. But on the other hand, again, I think they cleaned up anything like that may have been happening. Basically, because you can't do that and expect the audience, especially diehard watchers or other MMA people or you know, any other athletes that are watching this, they're gonna pick up on it. So I don't think you could do that today. I really don't think. I don't think you could get away with rigging fights per se the way they used to back then. Exactly. Juice extends recovery time, muscle growth, and recovery. But it also enhances you while you're in the ring. It gives you that advantage, man. It's not just during your training, which they say, oh, I need it during training to recover faster. No. While you're in the ring fighting, the whole scheme of what's in your system is working for you, right? You are taking a shot that would hit me, and it would slow me down. But if you take that same shot and you're on PEDs, you're going to take the shot, but your recovery time is going to be probably twice as fast as what mine would be if I'm fighting clean. And I think, you know what, on another fact of this, but if you think about this, it doesn't matter what the sport is. You go back to just about any professional sport at some point or another, there's always been a question. Somebody's always going to put that, oh, that was rigged. That was rigged. Mike Tyson, Logan Paul was rigged. You think? You think? My God. Hey, you know what? They made a fucking boat. What did Tyson get out of that? 20 million? 30 million? Something stupid. I mean, like an astronomically ridiculous amount of money. Same when Tyson did that with Roy Jones Jr. That was shameful. Two fantastic fighters in their prime embarrassed themselves. Like, let's face it, it was definitely embarrassing. Anybody that watched that, the Roy Jones and Mike Tyson, oh, come on, man. That should not have happened. The Logan Paul thing, or the Jake Paul thing, that was entertainment, and it was rigged, and it was whatever. But when you take a guy of Roy Jones caliber, oh, come on, man. In his day, Roy Jones he's at the top of the list for greatest, right? For his weight division. Well, actually, because he was a multi-divisional title champion. But to watch those two old-timers go at it in the ring, you knew that it wasn't going to be good. And it was embarrassing. I think they both embarrassed themselves. The Jake Paul fight, hey, that was something else. You know, I think that was a big rigged up thing. That was just for pure entertainment. Tyson got 50 million. I don't know, man. For 50 million, I'd stand in there and let Tyson take a couple swings at me. I'd want to be dressed up like the Michelin Man, but I don't know. It's all part of it. Training for 2 months on juice for 25-minute fights. Your body is there. Maybe a little. Tyson now laughs about it. Old Tyson would be embarrassed. Yeah. Well, if you come forward and say beforehand, like with the Jake Paul fight, if you come forward beforehand and say, hey, you know, this is just a fucking rigged expedition. We're going to have a little fun here. Maybe raise a little money for charity. And yeah, we're going to make some money here. But they didn't. You know, they tried to pass this off as like the fight of the century or the fight of the decade honestly, it was the fight of the minute. It got 5 minutes more than it should have. I'll be honest with you. Stephanie's in the house, which means Chicken Hawk should be along shortly. Good to see you, Stephanie. India is night. Yeah, well, it's 8:25 a.m. over here in Alberta. So, yeah, I guess India, all those countries, Middle East, are all nighttime. Guys, do me a favor. Would you hit the like button? Just give it a little stroke, a poke, a slide. Do what you got to do. Hit the like button. I'd appreciate that. Tyson that's still baffling. Eh? Tyson, what did Jake Paul get? Frosty, what did Jake Paul get? Old Tyson would have bit Jake's ear off. Oh, yeah, but think about this. Old Tyson, they take Tyson at 25, 26, that wouldn't have been a fight. Jake Paul's fucking head would have been knocked off in the first 30 seconds. There would have been no fight. There would have been nothing. The fact that, that Jake Paul even survived the fight is a miracle. Jake Paul has no right doing what he's doing. He made a boatload of money on the promotion. He made a boatload of money on obviously the fight and shit like that. And good on him. He's a promoter and he's an influencer, if you want to call it that. And I guarantee you, he made whatever he made on that fight, whatever they paid him on that fight. I promise you, he made a whole lot more money on the side, right, through his podcasts and his YouTube channel and his fucking tickety talk and his wickety fuck everything else, right? Everything else. Your broke ass would fight somebody for $100? Yeah, dude, let me tell you. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that aren't far off that. There's been times in my life, dude, I'd have done it for 20. And I don't care who you are, right? I think they make fights shitty. Well, you know what? When you watch, I can say this, Stephanie, when I say this, when you watch something like Jake Paul and fucking Mike Tyson or Roy Jones and Mike Tyson, when you watch something like that and it's embarrassing, but you still watch because it's like a train wreck. You have to watch. But then when you go, then say a month or so later, you watch two professional fighters, you will appreciate the professional fighters. You will want, when you get two guys that are in their prime and they're fighting for a title and they're young and they're actually really good fighters, you will appreciate a good boxing match after that, or even a good MMA match after that, or anything like that. When you see that, it does bring a level of appreciation to the real thing. Because Jake Paul and fucking Mike Tyson wasn't the real thing. But then if you go back and you watch a real one, it will give you an appreciation for the real fight and the real fighters. And the training and the discipline that they have to go through to do that. Those guys that are fighting, most of the professional boxers, especially once you get ranked, and then if you make it into the top 10, most of those guys are only fighting twice a year, and for good reason, right? The missus will fight for a bottle of Iron Brew, but you would fight a Tasmanian haggis. There's a few things in life that I will have physical altercation for and fight for. Iron Brew is one of them. You don't put your hands on my woman, you don't put your hands on my kids, and you don't put your hands on my dog. After that, you touch any of those, I'm going to be gunning for you, right? And my Iron Brew, of course. Other than that, I'm too old and fat to be throwing fists these days. Watch some chimps go into battle. Hey, if it's a good battle, I'll watch it. Khabib versus McGregor had very high, you could fucking Frosty, you could have the title Frosty versus McGregor and it would have high viewership only because of McGregor and the name. I don't think we've seen the last of Conor McGregor, but I think we've already seen the best of Conor McGregor. And let's face it, the man's net worth is over $500 million. His net worth is over $500 million. When you have a net worth and a lifestyle and you have a bank account that affords you his lifestyle, do you really want to stand in a ring, for 5 minutes, five 5-minute rounds or 5 3-minute rounds, and get the living shit beat out of you? Khabib, doesn't matter. If Khabib and McGregor fought again today, Khabib would wipe the floor with him. absolutely wiped the floor with him. And I gotta, like, you know what? I like Khabib. I did. And I respect a guy, a fighter of that caliber, and I respect the fact that, you know what, man? He came into the MMA, did everything that he wanted to do, got paid. Don't get me wrong, the man got paid, and he walked away. He's not like, say, GSP, came, left, or Connor, he takes extended times off, comes in, gets another paycheck, and leaves. And Khabib came in and he fought consistently, and he fought at a very, very high level. Like he is up there again with John Jones. He's the pinnacle of MMA fighters. Khabib is. But you could Frosty, you could put your fucking pet poodle against McGregor and it's going to sell tickets. People want to watch McGregor more for the sideshow, for the wind up, for the pregame, that's what they want to watch. Because let me tell you, when he got into the ring, I don't know if any of you watched like how closely you watched that fight, and then I went back and I watched all the replay 100 times over. Do you know that Khabib was talking to him and embarrassing him the whole time they were fighting? Right? Because McGregor said some things prior to the fight, and he was, taking shots at Khabib and his family and his whatever like that. And the whole time they were in the ring, at one point Khabib had him pinned on the ground up against the fence, and he was saying, he was talking to McGregor, and what do you think of this now? Say it now, and McGregor he was embarrassed, absolutely embarrassed. Khabib finished his career that night, and rightly so. He came in, competed at the highest level, and left on a high note. If you're gonna have a career, that's how you want to do it. We're not gonna talk about truck drivers and their careers. Is that what it was? He was talking about his father, something like that. $500 million penalty he got for jumping the cage post-fight for attacking McGregor's team. He got a $500 million, I think maybe a $5 million penalty. I don't think he can get a $500 million penalty. Maybe 500 million pesos. You believe that when he won that fight, shortly after that fight, he was on the phone with Putin? Vladimir Putin, the president, or let's say the owner of Russia, called him, gave him and his dad a bunch of land, and I don't know what the dollar figure was, but it was a boatload of money, right? Gave him a boatload of fucking money for winning that fight. When the president of your country calls you after the fight, congratulates you, and then gives you a boatload of money, gives you and your dad a boatload of money and some land, wow. Amsterdam is beautiful. Can you guys still see the sun? Oop, hold on. The sun be a-moving. There we go. We're just about done with the sunrise here. Just about finished. He talked about his father. Yeah, he talked to, but let's face it. You got to know way ahead of time. If you're going to trash talk, you're going to fight or get into an MMA fight with Conor McGregor, you got to know that there is going to be trash talk, and he is going to pick on anything that he can get. The man has no filter. Zero, zilch, nada filter. So you better know way ahead of time that, you know what, he's going to drag your family into it, your father into it, your mother, your fucking kids. He's going to drag your country, your whatever team you're fighting for. Whatever team you're fighting for, whatever they're going to drag your coworker or your teammates in. Oh, Conor McGregor is ruthless with the trash talk. And in some instances, I will say that it has worked. He has psyched out psyched out more guys that, you know, the fight was over before the first punch was ever thrown. But in this case here, I don't think so. This was business. The Russian came in and took care of business. And McGregor was the business, and he got taken care of. Hold on here. You got to turn the camera around. If you guys are good with that. There we go. Give me 1 second here. Here. Again, here. Look at my dirty windshield. There you go. Enjoy that for a second. Oh, 500,000. Okay, 500,000. Fuck, I thought it, sorry. I miscounted all the zeros there. Darius, I'm sorry, man. I miscounted all the zeros. I thought it was 500 million. I'm like, fuck. I don't think he took a $500 million penalty for that. I don't think he had he's got $500 million. Mind you, Putin does. I'm sure Putin would have paid the fine. All of us in here remembers when President Reagan flew into the Daytona 500 racetrack in the day. Be curious to see Trump show up at a NASCAR. Let's see, hold on here. Let me give the old spectacles a little wipe here. $500,000 and 9 months suspension, and McGregor got $50,000 and 6 months suspension. I don't know. I don't know of how fair that is. Let's face it, McGregor's the instigator, right? If he's out in the crowd chirping, he's the instigator. Are you and I at the dead end of acknowledgement? You know what? That's up in the air. That's up in the air. To be honest with you, that's up in the air. I always drink before doing electrical work. I don't want to die sober. Well, you know what? I just don't do electrical work. That's why I hire somebody. I learned my lesson. I don't do home improvements. I really don't. I don't do home improvements because you know what? And I'm not talking, yeah, okay, I can change a light bulb and bullshit like that, and I can change a light fixture, but anything more than that, if I do it, chances are I'm going to screw it up. Then I got to pay somebody to come in and fix what I already screwed up, and that's going to cost me more. So you know what? It's just easier for me just to pay somebody to come in and do it right the first time. I'm effing back. Freeway, that's how you come back. That's how you enter a room. Appreciate that. He literally did this year in Daytona, did he? That's the other thing. I haven't watched NASCAR in years either. I used to be a real diehard NASCAR watcher. I went down to the 500 in Daytona. I went down with my dad and my brother. That was a really good time down there watching that. Went down for the whole weekend. Caught the duels. Caught the Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. No, hold on. No, we didn't catch the Thursday. We caught the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That was a good fucking time. But I got away from it. I did. I lost interest. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like, you know, it was good and I watched it. It had my attention. And now it's like, nah. You're busy playing with your knob, Brent? Well, it's my knob, Crag Rat. If I want to play with it, I will. Go get your own knob and play with it. I'm the one they're paying to do it. To do it. Car wash maintenance. There you go. Eamon, good to see you. Hello, Wheelburner. Good to see you. Man, it's damn good to see you too, man. Appreciate that. Thanks for coming in. Everything in Florida nowadays is a tourist trap. Well, Guard Dog was complaining the other day there that he's just about tired. Like, are the snowbirds going to leave? Are you guys crazy? There's more Canadians in Florida than there is Floridians. And they've got they're all the snowbirds. They've got all the money. Why the hell would you want them to leave? They're pretty much, them and the drug dealers out of Miami, they're pretty much supporting your entire bloody state. Right? Why do you want them to leave? Okay, I get it. They drive slow, right? They drive slow. They get on the road. You got to drive around them, and you got to fucking, they're driving around like this, and they'll look over there. But I get that. But from a financial standpoint or an economic standpoint, come on, man. They're down there dropping their pensions in your lap. And I think Florida's pretty much full now. They're in the snowbirds are in Arizona. Arizona's got a huge population of Canadians now. Corey, tourists aren't the only thing trapped in Florida. Florida is one of those states that I go into and I get out of. I don't go down and hang out, although I will be this year. I'll be making a trip down there at some point this year. I'm trying to get goddamn dates nailed down. Yeah, I'd have better luck trying to win the lottery than nailing down dates to get down there. I've got access to accommodations down there, and I've got a bunch of people I really want to go visit, but I'm just trying to nail down some dates. Your car needs a wash? Well, take it over to Texas and get car wash guy there. He'll hook you up. Say I'm a little too old and red for my particular taste. There you go. There is Buck Brown throwing up the link to the Forgotten Angels. That is our charity of choice on this channel. They are the channel. They are the charity that's going to get our money this year. They got our money last year for the donation for the beard shave. They're going to get it again this year for the beard shave. So there's the link. If by chance you feel like throwing a few bucks around, there's a charitable organization that's worth throwing your money at. Every single person that works there is a volunteer. There's no CEOs taking salaries. There's no secretaries taking salaries. Every penny that you send, every penny that you donate actually goes to the kids. It absolutely goes to the kids. It's that they're a different generation than the old folks. The boomer generation of retirees sucks worse than the greatest generation. Most of the greatest generation, most of them have died off. I don't think that there's many of them around. And I think the boomers, most of the boomers are probably easily in their late 70s, early 80s, I would think, based on my parents. Both my parents are boomers, so... And I know how old, but they're both still alive, and I know how old they are. So, but I don't imagine that the boomer generation is still going strong, Florida snow Mexicans mixed with real Mexicans. Well, no, it's Florida snow Mexicans mixed with the Cubans, right? Mixed with the Cubans. Beware of nonprofits. Absolutely agree. When you pick a charity, and I learned a very valuable lesson last year with our charitable drive. When you pick a charity, do your homework. Find out not only what that charity does, that's important, but find out where the money goes, right? Find out where the money goes. Does that charity have a CEO? Right? Like Goodwill has a as a CEO that he makes, $2 million a year as a salary. Well, that's, and then there's a board, and they're all on the salary. They're all picking up find the charity that has nothing, right? That doesn't do anything. That's 100% volunteer, right? Forgotten Angels is one of those. Dave and Cindy have made this their life's mission, helping these kids, and they do it out of the love for these kids and the need for what they're doing. And, you know, they don't take a salary. They don't, you know, they live on the grounds. They own the grounds. And they supply pretty much everything that comes into those, all the money that comes in gets turned over and the kids get it. You're a charity case? Well, we've known that for fucking years, Tyrannus. Known that for years. I heard in the news which parents throw a party for his kid's result who failed in every subject in high school. Yeah, it's the get a trophy generation. Everybody gets a trophy. Do not agree with that. Don't bring it today, raining all fucking week again. That's why I'm playing Sparky to pay my guys. Ailey, Tokes, I love you, old man. Hey, thanks, man. Sending love back to you. Poisey, what's going on? What's up, man? How you doing? Could you do a pipe smoking stream soon? A pipe store. You know what? I've got the pipe. Yeah, I could probably do that. We could probably come out here and the problem with a pipe is it has to be relit every time you want to fucking hit on it, right? It really does. They don't, when I smoke a cigar, you know, they pretty much stay lit for the amount of time that I'm smoking it. When you smoke a cigarette, obviously, same thing. But when you smoke a pipe, every single time, if you take a couple puffs on it and you put it down for, you know, 20, 30 seconds, you go back to take another hit on it or you got to relight it. So that's a lot of, you know, doing this. Acting all tough like I didn't have you griping sheets. Wow. Okay, support, you do that. Give that a swing, see how that works out for you. I will await. I will await the result of that. See how that goes. Do I play video games, Ailey? No, I don't play video games. I used to. I've got a PS4. I don't get on it very much anymore. I really don't. I don't know. I used to play Call of Duty. I used to be a Call of Duty guy. But I really do. I got tired of playing. I'll be honest with you. I got tired of playing, and most of the people you're playing with are kids, and you just can't compete, right? You just can't compete with the kids. I mean, son of a bitch, you know, you get killed, you come back, you last about 20 seconds, you get killed again. These kids are incredible the way they play, and so it's just not. You know, I just kind of lost interest of sitting on the sidelines watching everybody else run around and play. You know, it's no fun. It's no fun. If I want to play, I want to play. So I kind of I lost interest in it. I used to play the NASCAR game as well. I think there was NASCAR 10 or something was the last one that I had, that I played. And again, it's you got to build your team. You got to start at the low level and then you build your team up, and then you build into this, then you get to the next division. And I mean, it could take you 6 months to be competitive. You know, it could take you 6 months to be competitive in a video game. It's like, I don't have that kind of time to dedicate to it. You know? Hello, New York City. You compete in the 80s or in the 1980s. Arcade games in the mall. Do you ever play Donkey Kong? Oh, man. Okay, see, that's different. Yeah. Back in those days, back in the 80s, you walk into any mall, there was always an arcade, right? And, of course, you were feeding quarters into the fucking thing. But, yeah, you'd walk in and you'd actually be standing there, and you'd have a bunch of your friends with you. And it would almost be, you'd phone your friend and you go, hey, Tom, we're going down to the arcade, right? That's what we did. That was cool back then. Sit there and play at the arcade. Donkey Kong, Pac-Man, Mrs. Pac-Man, even Super Mario, like that kind of stuff. Like, that was fun. Mind you, you get your $20 allowance on Friday, and on Saturday, by noon on Saturday, you were back at your parents' door going, can I have another $1? Right? Can I have another $1? Thoughts on people who purchase, for example, the new Nintendo's 2, the Switch 2, and never open it. Here's the thing about some of those. I'm not obviously, I don't have a world of knowledge about this, but I have seen some of the original, like the original, what was it, the Nintendo NES or whatever it was. If you had an original one that was still in the box and wasn't opened, and you could prove it, and it was, and then you take it and get it graded, yeah, like those things are, some of those I think have gone for upwards of $1 million. So do I have a problem? If you're buying 2 switches and one you're going to play with and one you're going to leave it in the box, as maybe one day it's going to put your kids through college, I got no problem with that. I was a Space Invader. Oh, I love Space Invader. And Galactica. Buck, you remember Galactica? Galactica was a great one as well. Space Invaders and Galactica. I hate to burst everybody's bubble, but Kenny Rogers, the singer, died 2 years ago. Kenny Rogers had the baseball player who played professional baseball and is 60 years old. What cam would you run in an LS3 with a 4, fuck Kelby, I don't know. In a 4, that's beyond my area of expertise. I don't build cars. I have a very, very, very talented engine builder back in Ontario that if I've got the money and I want to put a car together, I will go see him. A fantastic guy. He's a couple years younger than I am. He's probably about 10 years younger than I am. From Afghanistan, believe it or not, from Afghanistan. Came over to Canada as a young kid and worked in his dad and his uncle's shop. And from the day he could walk, he turned wrenches. And then I think in his early 30s or late 20s, he opened his own shop, his own garage, just doing general mechanics and shit like that. And then he got into the high-end engine building, performance engine building, and he made a name for himself with BMW, BMW Canada. He got himself into a little bit of trouble, but it paid off big time in the end with BMW. And now that's all he does. He focuses on performance engines, race engines, building, perform. Now, that's not to say like you couldn't take a car to him, right? Like this is an example of what happens. Somebody will buy like a Beamer, a new Beamer right off the lot, and they'll take it to him and drop it in his lot and say, okay, I want 1,000 horsepower. I want this. And then they leave the keys and they walk away. And when it's done, it's done. Yeah, that's the level that he's at. When it's done, he'll hand you back your keys and you just pay him whatever he wants you to, whatever the number is, you just pay him. That's the level that he's at. So me, not so much. Have I heard of Red Dead Redemption? I played the first one. Again, it was one of those things I never really got into. What happened in Nevada? You know what? He took a walk. And rightly so, he took a walk. Nevada, in my opinion, donated too much of his time to YouTube, got too involved with it, got too into the drama, got himself into a couple of pinches, and very wisely just decided, you know what, this isn't worth my mental health, it's not worth my job, it's not worth my career, it's not worth it, and he walked away. And as far as I know, I don't think his channel's active. I poke in once in a while, because I'd spoken to him, I've spoken to him on the phone. Actually, he was instrumental in helping my channel way back early in the day when my channel first started. Because he knew Alex, he knew Alex, and Alex was very gracious during the trucking convoy to give me a spot on his on one of his interviews. He did an interview with us while we were at the convoy, and Nevada was instrumental in hooking that up, which gave my channel a boost. So I'm glad. As far as I know, Nevada is he's living a good life today. He's quiet. He's just doing his thing. The 4160E is a weak transmission. You'll want the 4180E. Again, I'll take your word for it. The 460 is already in the truck. I'll make the change when that one craps out. 460 is a solid motor, though. A solid engine, sorry. Motor, as I caught shit a couple of weeks ago. Right there, we were talking about it and everything like that, and I said the word motor. and I offended somebody because I said motor instead of engine. And he you sure? You done? Goddamn Canada Goose just flew like right through here. He's got a couple more. So I offended this guy or this gentleman by saying, something the 302 motor and everything like that. And he corrected me and says electric engine or electric performances are motors. Electric cars have motors. Combustion vehicles are engines. So if I offend you when I say the word motor, whatever. Sorry. Hi, I'm from Toronto, Canada. I drive a truck, brother. Hey, Suckbear, good to see you. I'm not from Toronto, but I am obviously in Canada. I live in Alberta, but I'm from Ontario. Born in Ontario, raised in Ontario. I was born in Toronto, but I didn't live in Toronto. I was born and raised pretty much in Mississauga. Sorry, there's something here I missed some comments, so. You're 28 at the worst part of your life. No money, no job. Can you give me some words of advice? Jesus Christ, really? Why? Okay, I'm going to ask you a question. First of all, if it's the worst time of your life, I get that. We've all been there. But why don't you have a job? Don't tell me you can't find a job. Maybe you can't find a job doing what you want to do, but there's no reason for you not to have a job. So first of all, get a job. If you're a truck driver or you're a whatever you are, and you can't find a job in that field, well, at least get a goddamn job paying you something so that at least you have a job until you can find something, right? Until you can find something to do or in your field. There's no excuse for not having a job. Worst time in your life? Well, like I said, we've all been there. How you deal with it and what you do with it. If you're going to sit around and feel sorry for yourself, that's a different story. But if you're actively trying to better yourself, be a better person, be a better man, if you've got time on your hands and, you're depressed or you're not feeling good about yourself, volunteer somewhere. Go down to the shelter, go down to the food bank, go down to somewhere else. Look at the misery that other people are living in. I guarantee you, your life may not seem so bad. You live in Mississauga, right on. I grew up in Erin Mills, so if you know Mississauga, or if you know Erin Mills, I grew up in the College Way Glen Erin intersection area, right in there. I grew up in that area, basically in between Burnhamthorpe and Dundas, and from Erin Mills Parkway up to Winston Churchill. That whole grid, I just gave you a grid. If you know Mississauga, you'll know that grid. I grew up in that area. I don't work, but I know why. I'm taking one day at a time. Well, we got Craig, right? We all know why you're not working. That's all good. It's not like you're being a lazy fuck and sitting around doing nothing with your thumb in your ass. So there you go, Suckbeard. That's where I grew up. I moved, like I said, I was born in Toronto, and I moved out there when I was about 3 or 4. I think I was 3, and lived there for most of my teen years, up until my teen years. I don't know. I feel like happiness comes from within, and you shouldn't compare yourself to others. That's, you know what, Ailey, that's very good advice. It's very good advice. If you're comparing yourself to everybody else, you'll never get there. There's too much. There's too many. I spent years doing that. I really did. I spent too many years of my life competing and compare. This guy's got this. I have to have better than that. This guy's got this house. I have to have a bigger and better house than that. This guy drives this. I have to have a bigger, better, faster than that. Compare, this guy makes this amount of money. I need to make more money than, dude. All I ended up with was a big house and a lot of shit with, you know, and I wasn't happy. Bro, I'm thinking of buying a new truck. Any ideas? Are you already an owner operator? Like, you're talking big trucks, like commercial trucks, like Freightliner, Kenworth, something like that, right? It's a motor car or motorcycle. A truck has a motor. Tell him he's a dim cunt. I told him to kick rocks. I told him to kick rocks. It's like, whatever. So you're already an owner-operator? Okay. Are you going to go brand new? If you're going to go with a brand new truck, first of all, you know, if your truck's paid for, the one you got right now and your truck's paid for, have a seller, like have somebody on the hook ready to buy that in a minute. Take that money plus whatever else money, because if you're looking at a brand new truck, like let's just go with like the Cascadias, the Freightliner Cascadias, a brand new one of those, you're still over the $200,000 mark right now. So you absolutely need to have a big down payment. Get as much money as you can on your down payment with those. If you're going brand new, take the extended warranty. And know what you're getting into with the new generation of trucks. How about Ted Nugent Stranglehold? That is one of my favorite songs to drive to. You put Ted Nugent Stranglehold on, and I guarantee you a speeding ticket will commence. It is fucking ridiculous. I don't know what it is about that song. Quinn, if you know the song and you like the song, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You cannot listen to that song and drive 50 miles an hour. You can't do it. Absolutely can't do it. Love it. Best coffee I ever had was in Cuba. It was so good I didn't even have to add fucking sugar to it. Best coffee I ever had was in Cuba. And I like sweet. Like there's two sugars in that, right? It's doubled up. I started out drinking coffee years and years and years ago. It was 5 sugars and 4 cream in this, right? And then I got down to triple. Then now I'm down to double. So I got 2 sugars, 2 cream in here. And I like a little bit of sweet with the coffee. But when I was in Cuba, it was so good. The flavor was so good and so strong. And so I didn't have to add a little bit of cream. But even then, you add cream to Cuban coffee and it doesn't even change the color. You know it's in there, but you just don't have to, you don't see it. That was the best. But again, I'm not a coffee aficionado. I'm really not. My truck ownership journeys is the exception to the rule, we know. But that being said, if I can make it, anyone can. Well, you know what? In the owner-operator game, if you're going to be an owner-operator, Robert's got his idea, don't. But if you're going to get into the game, know this up front. Honestly, it's not all you. If you are successful as an owner-operator today, you didn't do that by yourself. Okay? Yes, it takes some brains. Yes, it takes some dedication. Yes, it takes a little education. It takes some things to do and get in this game. But you are gonna get lucky once in a while. Buck, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Tyke, whether you say don't do it or not, you know that any successful owner-operator today, anybody today that's a successful has gotten lucky once or twice. Every once in a while, you're going to swing for the fence and you're going to connect, and it's pure luck. ABZ, try harder. Do better. Be a better person. I've been a volunteer at Joe Brandt for 12 years, and giving back really works. Well, it's good for the soul. It is. It's good for the soul. Take care of your own if you can, though. Always take care of your own first. Then what's left over, you dole out, and you take care of others. I'm a very big believer in that. We do that with this channel as well. You guys obviously know, right? We take care of others if we can. Very big believer in that. Yeah, exactly, Buck. It does. It takes a fuck ton of luck. You know, you're gonna get lucky. I'd like to say that, you know, all these years I've been a success. I've been successful as an owner operator and in the trucking industry and da da da. You know what? I've made some big fucking mistakes. Big mistakes. I've dug myself some pretty big fucking holes that I've had to dig out of, right? That I've had to dig myself out of, and it's not all been me. I've gotten lucky, and I've had the help of some good people around me. I think in this business, who you associate yourself with in the trucking industry as an owner operator, you know, your mentors. Like, I've got my mentors. I've got people that you know, in this industry, I don't have all the answers. But at least if I don't have the answer, chances are I know somebody who does. And for years, I've always had like a mentor or a couple of people that are at the pinnacle of that have been doing this for 40, 45 years, and they're still doing it successfully. Those are the people that I want to talk to. Those are the people that I do talk to, and as well as the people that I associate myself with. Buck is in the same boat. I know a lot of the people that Buck associates himself with. When you've got good people around you that you can go to with a question or a problem or anything like that, and you're going to get you're not going to get maybe the answer or the opinion that you want, but you're going to get that kick in the ass. You're going to get that, you know, what you need. And that's what I need. That's what I need. I don't surround myself with a bunch of yes people. You know, I don't surround myself with a lot of yes people. They're just going to tell me and chirp in my ear and tell me oh, you're great. You're an awesome driver. You're a fantastic business owner. Da, da. I don't want to hear that. You know? Remote viewer, thanks, man. You know what? I like to say this. I'm just but a humble truck driver out here making my way through the world. You know, the moment you become complacent in the truck ownership is very moment reality will bite you in the ass. Buck agreed. And I've fallen into that trap as well, Buck. I have. You know, I've gotten complacent. Excuse me. And paid for it. Dearly paid for it. Do you have any interest in, you know what, this ain't the time and place this ain't the place to be talking about stuff like that. Greetings from India, man. Thank you for popping in here and being here from India. I appreciate that. We have a large contingency of Indians that come through our channel, and man, you are welcome here. You are safe here. Thanks for being here. The big fleet operators buy trucks at a discount because they buy so many. True. Buy a 2-year-old ex-fleet truck or lose your down payment as soon as you drive off a brand new truck off. Agreed. Robert, agreed. In my life, I've bought one brand new truck. That was the 14 Volvo. And the truck I'm in right now would be like the second closest. This one here was 8 months old when I got it. But I absolutely agree with that. I've been fortunate and unfortunate, but I find that, like, if you can find a trucking company that's buying trucks, and if it's a smaller company, like some of the smaller companies, for example, the ownership of KBD, when they buy trucks, they buy them 10 at a pop, right? They'll buy 10, 12 at a pop. And if I wanted to, I could ask them, they would have done it. I could have asked them, say they were buying 10, I could have asked them to buy an 11th truck and then get their fleet discount, you know, and that's business. That's how you do business. A smart man will always look for another way to do it. So if I could, and they were like, yeah, we'll buy it and you'll get there. So let's say the truck for me to go in and buy it is $220,000. He's getting it for $195. I'll take that discount. And then, of course, I would have my own financing. And when the truck arrives, I simply I buy the truck off of him and take it off of his hands. That's what I would do. And I've done that in the past. Jason Ghost, good to see you. Now is not the time to buy a truck. Wait till after the crash. Companies are going under, drivers laid off. Work for someone else, put back your money. That's not bad advice, Ghost. Tara, that's not bad advice at all. But some people just don't want to listen and they want to go. And if you're going to go, if they are determined to do it, at least let's give them a fighting chance, right? Let's give them a fighting chance. Jaden, good to see you. Greetings from Burundi. Jaden, where the heck is Burundi? I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. If you guys want to say where you're from, I love it. Please do. I appreciate it. But if Burundi is a province or a town in a bigger country, at least give us the country so I know what part of the world you're in. Right? Humble pie is not always tasty. Damn it, don't I know that? Right? Damn it, don't I know that? Take a big bite of humble pie. Sometimes you get a mouthful of shit. Greetings from Ireland. There you go. Michael Ryan, good to see you from Ireland. Thank you, sir, for popping in here. We appreciate your view. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button. There's 2060 is in here. There's 31 likes. Stroke the like button a few more times. I'd appreciate that. You can always tell when the rain is coming from the Gulf. Smells worse than granny. That is one thing I've always... In the summertime, on the hot summers, when you're coming out of Texas and say... We used to run pretty much a dedicated route, right? I'd run out of Ontario, run down to Texas, and we'd do 2 or 3 drops down in Texas. Then, you know, you'd make your last drop in San Antonio or Laredo, and then you would haul ass across the I-10. Over to New Orleans. And then you go into the port. And that whole trip across the I-10 stunk. It would stink like old granny. Exactly, Ryan. Old granny. It just stunk. The smell coming off the coast sometimes, I don't know how you guys fucking live with that. Well, then mind you, it's the same living out here. Where I live out here, it is all like, you guys have seen the scenery here. I'll give you a quick shot of it, right? We got prairies, right? Now, that field out there actually got turned yesterday. So, you know that they're going to be planting soon, right? You know they're going to be planting soon. And the fertilizer, I think at the other end of town, they've already started fertilizing the fields. Let me tell you, man, that stinks. And the whole town stinks. It really does. Hold on, I'm going to adjust this. Greetings from Poland and Europe, man. Good to see you, Darius. Thanks for popping in here from fucking Poland. You ever watch Monty Python? Michael, who has not watched Monty Python? Jesus. There was nothing better back in the day. You go out to the bar, you get all hammered and liquored up, and then you all pile back to somebody else's house and you watch Life of Brian. We've watched those movies so many times that you can actually mouth the words as they're coming out, right? You know what? Yeah, the crash is coming. The crash has already started. I don't know what you're thinking of. It's coming. In my business, in the industry, the trucking business, the crash is already started. Big auctions like Mannheim, good possibilities. But the problem with that, and this is, I don't ever buy a truck out of an auction. I never have, and I probably never will. If the truck has been repoed, right? If somebody's been repoed, if somebody's lost their truck and it's been repoed and you're going to buy it, if somebody had the truck repoed, that means they couldn't make the payments and it got repoed. Well, if they couldn't make the payments, chances are they couldn't maintain the maintenance on it either. So now you're at a higher risk, right? Anytime you take anything out of an auction anyway, car, motorcycle, boat, truck, whatever, you're always at a higher risk of, you're not going to get, there might be something wrong with it. But when it comes to commercial vehicles, There is a lot of maintenance and a lot of money. It takes literally barrels of money to keep one of these things operating in good standard and good standing. So if somebody's had their truck repoed and you've got 20 of them all repoed, some company went tits up and they couldn't afford. If they can't afford the payments, the chances are they couldn't afford the maintenance and on them as well. So I shy away from the auctions when it comes to buying commercial vehicles. Car, I would take a chance on, right? I would take a chance. I've bought vehicles that came out of the auction, and I've been successful with that. But commercial vehicles, it's just there's too much. There's too much. Like I said, to maintain these things, Buck Brown can tell you, Tyke can tell you, anybody that's an owner-operator, Chicken Hawk, they'll tell you. These guys are all owner-operators. They've been out there. They're out there doing it now, same as myself. The money to maintain, and if you don't have the money for the payment, you're not maintaining the truck. We have a lot of silage and slurry spreading in Ireland. It's a lovely smell. Farmers hard at work. Well, you know what, though? You think about this, Michael. At least the farmers are working. At least the farmers are working. Over here in Canada, you know, things have changed for our farmers. Not all of them are working anymore, and that's a shame. What freight pays the most in trucking? Right now, Darius, I would say hazardous goods. If you want to see some guy that's doing hazardous goods, there's a couple of channels out there that guys that are pulling hazardous goods. I think Ghost, she does a lot of hazmat. She's got a channel, Chasing Ghost, if you want to see what she's up to sometimes. Hazmat probably pays the most right now. If not, then tankers pays well. Tankers pays well. And after you get into that, then you get into the flatbed side. But even standard general flatbed freight is a little flat. But if you can get into what I was doing before I came out here, you can get into like heavy haul or oversize. Then you can make a really good paycheck on that. The problem with that is it's not steady, right? It's not steady. And there's a lot of competition for oversize and heavy haul work. There's a lot of heavy haul guys that are sitting around with a lot of equipment, not doing anything right now. But I think if you want to come in and, you know, if you want a surefire, go into flatbedding. If you're a van driver and you're not making enough money and you know, you've got some flatbedding experience and you've got the chance and the opportunity, or the company, like the company I was with had both, right? They had vans and flats and oversize and heavy haul. If you can get into the company that does both and they're willing to flip you from one to the other, and even if you're not experienced with flatbedding, if they're willing to maybe train you, take it, man. Take it. I wholly agree. In the trucking industry, do not stick to one form of trucking. If you've been a van driver for fucking 40 years, well, good on you. But you know what? If you're a young guy, build your resume. Build your resume, especially in trucking. If you can walk into a company with a resume and you can show that, you know, you've pulled vans, you've pulled reefers, you've done heaters, you've got heater box, and then you flip over and you've got flatbed, you've got step deck, you've got RGN, gooseneck, you've got oversize, you got heavy haul, and then let's say you've pulled a little tanker or a live bottom or something like that. Build your resume. If I was a company owner, right, and I was looking for truck drivers, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody, for example, like myself, where the company that I was at, on Monday he could say, okay, I need you to grab that RGN and go pick up that, and you take it over here. And then on Tuesday or Wednesday, you know, okay, you can drop that, you can pick up a step deck and go do something else. And then after that, they'll hook you onto a van. If you can have that in your resume, you'll never be unemployed. Tony, hi, Canadian. How are you, man? I am Canadian, and I'm doing great. I'm a security analyst, pre-sales. What is the future? Oh, Jesus Christ, I don't have a clue. You're asking the wrong cowboy here, dude. If you're looking for stock options in trucking, buy Swift, buy Titanium. Those are probably the two top right now. Titanium is a Canadian company out of Toronto, or out of Bolton, and or TFI. But stock, if you're going into something like that, Swift, as much as the industry makes fun of them, they're still the biggest fleet in the world, as far as I know. If you take Swift and the combination of everything that Swift owns, CR England and all that kind of shit. Yeah, Titanium's a good bet. Their stock is down right now. It's cheap. Buy it up. Swift, again, it's a little pricier. But right now theirs is at a little bit of a low. But when it comes up, when it finally the market at some point is going to stabilize and shit happens, that stock will be worth the buy. Albert, how you doing, man? I look like a serial killer from Texas. Well, Henrik, you just don't know, man. You just don't know. This is my front. YouTube could be my front. I don't know. What's your favorite place to eat? Home. Upstairs at home. I can't believe I just said that. Yes, I can. I can believe I just said that. My favorite restaurant? You know what? I'm not a high-end restaurant guy. In Canada, we have a restaurant called The Keg. It would be a little higher standard than, say, the Outback or Montana's. And we have Outback here. We have Montana's here in Canada. But I think The Keg is probably my favorite restaurant to eat at. I'm a steak eater. I'm a meat eater. So eating steak is probably my favorite. The Keg is. If not, if you're looking at fast food, fuck, man. You know, my crack of choice for fast food is quarter pounders. Absolutely horrible for me. But you fucking, if I walk into a Love's and there's a McDonald's in there, I'm buying two double quarter pounders with cheese and bacon. I can't, it's like cocaine to me, man. I cannot help it. I just absolutely fucking have to go in. Even if I'm not hungry, I will go in and buy it. Bob Evans or Denny's? Putty Cat, do not do Denny's. Denny's ain't happening. Bob Evans, I've eaten at Bob Evans. I can't say whether it's great or not. I'm not there all the time. Percent 30, then smoke crack live on live. You won't see me smoking crack, let me tell you that. You won't catch me smoking crack. I heard some drivers made over 350 driving for ShopRite on the East Coast, local long distance. Darius, it well could be. It well could be. If you're an owner-op, right now, and you can get yourself on with a good company and actually pick up a dedicated run, you can do well. $350,000 is not unreasonable. You know, it's not unreasonable. The owner-operator business, the guys that are doing well are touching those numbers. You know, it's easily attainable if you've got the right niche. If you find the right niche and you can get it, it's worth it. 2 double quarter pounder with cheese, bacon. Damn, your toilet takes a beating out. Oh, damn, Putty Cat, don't you know it? Don't you know it? If I go into the McDonald's and eat those 2 double quarter pounders and then I'm using the bathroom before I leave the truck stop. Inigo Montoya, I'm convinced that Loves will be the last bastions of civilization in a post-apocalyptic. You know, well, they say the cockroaches are the only thing that's going to live. Loves might be the other thing. Of all the truck stops, I think Loves has the market right now. For cleanliness, for service. The only thing I can't stand, I don't know about you, Montoya, but when you walk into a Loves at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning and you're wiping the sleep out of your eyes and you're not awake, first of all, that fucking dinger that goes off, I fucking hate that. And the first thing you hear is, welcome to Love's. Do you know how many times I've wanted to go over the counter at that poor girl? Right? Oh my God. Oh my God. Welcome to Love's. Please stop that with the welcome to, or at least make it that you don't start that bullshit till after 7 a.m. You know, I don't want to hear that when I'm starting my truck at 3:30 in the morning and then coming in to wash my face and grab my coffee. That's the last thing I want to be fucking hearing. Does Love's have the best lot lizards? Love's have no lot lizards. Dude, Putty Cat, the lot lizard business has changed. They're not lot lizards. Okay, that's wrong. I'm not going to say that there's no lot lizards, but very rarely will you catch lot lizards walking these days, like the old days where they're, you know, you park your truck and they're knocking on the door. You don't see that anymore, because they don't have to, right? They don't have to. You can park your truck, grab your phone, order yourself a lot lizard, go in and have a shower and come back and she'll be waiting at your truck for you. You can order a prostitute now like fucking ordering pizza, 30 minutes or it's free. So the lot lizard business, why would they walk around when it's fucking, you know, knee deep in snow banging on trucks to give blowjobs when they can sit off site or they can sit somewhere and just wait for a phone call? Believe me, they're doing well. They're doing well. Do you think the electoral? Oh, yes, absolutely. Dude, let me tell you something. Darius, I have never been so, when I'm trucking and I'm using an ELOG. It's not like back in the day when we were on paper where you could move shit around here and there depending on what you're doing. And of course everybody goes, oh, well, that's illegal. But you know what? They introduced the ELOG and they said, well, it's going to force drivers to take their 10-hour break. Their 10 hours off. It's going to force drivers to take that half an hour and be rested. I have never been so goddamn tired in my life. When I was on a Mr. B's will account to this. Good to see you, Mr. B's. I'm glad you're here because it's a topic that you would be able to talk about. When I was on a paper logbook, I was never tired. I never ran down the road tired. If I needed to stop and grab a nap, I could do it because I could make that time up. I could move stuff around and I wasn't a danger. Nowadays, man, when you start that logbook in the morning on an ELOG, basically what you're doing is starting a clock and it's counting backwards. So for the rest of your day, you're racing a clock. And that, what is that? Every time you look down and you're looking at your ELOG and you see that clock ticking down in the circles and you got only so many hours of drive time, so many hours of on duty, so many hours before your break, so many hours, you know, you're racing a clock. Well, for me, what does that do? Does that settle me? Does that calm me? No. It gives me anxiety because now I'm racing a clock. I know the job I have to do and I know how to do it and I know where I got to go and I don't need a clock counting me down, which is now giving me anxiety and now I'm pushing myself, right? Too many guys these days have had accidents. Why? Because they're pushing themselves and they're tired, right? When your fucking day is done and you're not tired, but it's telling you, okay, you've got to go into the sleeper for 10 hours now. In Canada, we only have to go in for 8. But in the U.S., if I'm running U.S., I got to abide by the U.S. rules. I have to go in for 10 hours. But let me fucking tell you something, man. If I'm not tired, what am I supposed to do? Go jump into bed? So let's say I've got 10 hours off. I'm going to lay in my bed or I'm going to go have something. I'm going to make myself something to eat and I'm going to relax. But I'm not tired. I'm not sleepy. So if my 10 hours off, let's say 5 or 6 of those, I'm not sleeping. So now I'm going to get maybe 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And then all of a sudden, ding, the alarm goes off because I've got an appointment and I got somewhere to be and I've had 5 hours of sleep. Don't do that. You know, this is what it's done to the industry. What it's done to the industry. And their numbers, before they brought the ELOG in, they came out with all these stats. You know, they did these tests and all these stats and they were wrong. All of those numbers were wrong. If you look at the stats today, the ELOG hasn't done a goddamn thing to improve our industry. All it's done is stress out, made it more stressful. You're more anxious. You're always speeding. More accident. The accident rate has not come down from ELOGs. at all. Accident rate hasn't come down. If anything, it's gone up. Why? Because at all times, I'm racing that clock. When I was on paper, I didn't have that problem. I was rested. I wasn't always, hands on the wheel, gotta go. No. If I needed to do stuff and move stuff around, yeah, I could do that. Do you put pineapple on your pizza and my lot lizard? Well, you know what? I love pineapple on pizza, but lot lizard, I can't say so much. And the lack of dextrin. Well, most of my trucking career, I've been drug and alcohol free. I've not used any kind of enhancements to stay awake or anything like that. But that happens. Dextrin, sure, you could. There's lots of ways lots of things that you could take. Lots of things you can take that would give you that, that instant pop. I got into it years ago. I got into the energy drinks. Next thing you know, I'm walking around and I'm vibrating, right? My hands are vibrating, my legs are vibrating, my heart's fucking racing 200 miles an hour. You can't rely on that to give you that extra pop because because I'm falling asleep or because I'm starting to get groggy, right? And because I can't stop the truck because that ELOG, I've still got an hour left and I need that extra 60 miles. So next thing you know, you're popping energy drinks, and that's not healthy for you either. I fell into that trap as well. When will Chicken Hawk get here? Stephanie, I'd love to be able to tell you I know the answer to that, but I don't know. Have you met my friend, my co-driver, Benny? Exactly, right? What's that Freightliner fever? It's a long black pill. It's a West Coast turnaround. Right? He's going to, my friend Benny is going to drive the truck all the way back, right? Rippets tore us up. Yeah, they did. That's why back in the day, the white crosses and yellow jackets were banned. Well, yeah. Nowadays it's 5-hour energy and stuff like that. It's just substituting one for another. One was legal and one isn't. What is it that they put in these drinks, energy drinks that jack you up? I think most of it is just super high doses of caffeine. Is it not? Is there, what else are they putting in there? Like what else is in a Red Bull or in a Monster Energy? If you look what's in it, it's caffeine. It's just a massive sugar and caffeine jolt to your system. And it's like taking paddles and going on your chest, like starting your whole system. And that's how energy drinks work. But the crash on that, fuck, man. I'd almost say that cocaine addicts have an easier time coming down than fucking Red Bull addicts. And sugar. Exactly. It's caffeine and sugar. Taurine. Okay, what's taurine, Buck? What is that? Is that a derivative of some kind of sugar or a derivative of some kind of caffeine? It probably is. Again, you know what? It's one of those. I don't use Red Bulls. I don't use any, so I don't know what taurine is. But I'm probably sure it's probably something like a derivative, some kind of sugar derivative or some kind of caffeine. Is that why you have no teeth? Oh, Andrew. Poke. No, that's not why I have no teeth. Sterling wheel is I'm front. Well, damn it, boy, I don't want to see your behind. Taurine comes from bull sperm. Pun intended. Ugh. I'm not drinking it anyway. How can you tell the bridge height when, for example, New York City and New Jersey measures differently? I mean, different measurements on all the signs. Dude, that is called experience. And look it up. New York City and New Jersey are both notoriously famous for low bridges and having the bridge heights wrong. And what they'll do, and this is what happened in New York say it started about 10 or 12 years ago, especially when you're in the boroughs, right? You get in Harlem, Queens, Bronx, that kind of shit. The bridge height will say, let's just say they'll say it's 13.8 or 13.9, right? The bridge height. But then they'll go in after, say that road or that bridge is old, right? They'll go in and they'll repave the road. And now what they've done is they've raised the road level 2 or 3 more inches. So now that bridge height is actually wrong, right? So if your truck height is 13.6 and the bridge height was 13.8 or 13.9, they repaved the road and they've brought that road level up another 2 or 3 inches. You may not make it under that bridge. I've seen that happen time and time again, especially in New York, especially in New Jersey, especially in Chicago. Chicago is horrible for that as well. Chicago has gotten to the point now where their bridges, they were jamming so many trucks under bridges. So they now have a system where there's a laser at the height of the bridge that will measure the height of oncoming trucks. And if you can't make it underneath that laser, a great big fucking yellow light will start flashing and tell you, do not go under the bridge. And they'll usually catch you before you get under because they just got sick and tired of unjamming trucks. Remote viewer, so U.S. trucks, yeah. As a U.S. truck, the U.S. trucks have the same rules and regulations that I do as a Canadian driver. Like, for example, in Canada, for me, I'm allowed to pick up freight in Canada, drive to the U.S. and deliver it, drive anywhere I need to go. I can go anywhere in the U.S. to pick up freight, right? So I can pick up freight in the U.S., but it has to come back to Canada. I can't go to Georgia, deliver my load in Georgia, and then run over, say, Atlanta, pick up a load, and then go deliver that in Miami. I have to come back to Canada, and the U.S. drivers are the same up here. So let's just say you're in Atlanta, you pick up a load in Atlanta, you deliver it to, say, Toronto or Montreal in Canada, cross the border, and you go through customs and all the whole blah, blah, blah. Once you deliver, you can go anywhere in Canada, but you have to pick up a load, and you have to take it back to the U.S. You couldn't pick up a load in Montreal and deliver it to Winnipeg and Manitoba. Do they not mill the road before paving in these places? Joe Bangalow, yeah, they do, but they don't necessarily, take it down low enough, right? Let's face it, time is money, and a lot of these places, I've seen places in New York where you can tell that they didn't mill that road, right? They patched the hole and then repaved the whole goddamn fucking thing, adding 2.5 to 3 inches to the height of that road, and then walked away. They'll still, enlightened, sober, drunk, they'll still drive into that goddamn bridge. I've seen that too. The light is flashing. You're coming up on that bridge, right? You're coming up on that bridge. The light is flashing and you're looking at the ass end of a truck that's wedged underneath it. Right? Like, come on, what else do they got to do? Next thing you know, they're going to have some guy or a girl standing there with a flag, and you'll still probably wedge a truck underneath it. We have a new rule in the U.S. You must be able to speak English. I saw that. I agree with that, Mr. Bees. I absolutely agree with that. I don't think anybody in the trucking industry, and we've got a lot of it in Canada, and I know there's a lot of it in the U.S., that, like, for example, in Canada, if you want to get your Class A or your Class 1 truck license in Canada, you can go to school. You have to take a course. You got to go to school, and then you can take the test, the written test, in the language that you speak. You do not have to take it in English, which to me is absolutely mind-baffling and boggling. How you can take a test in say, Hindu or Hindi or any of these other languages, and then you have to come out, and then you got to drive around North America and you can't read or write English. What are we doing? You've already taken that driver and tied both his hands behind his back. That is an accident waiting to happen. Or how many times have you seen an accident and the guy gets out of the truck and the cop is talking to him and the guy doesn't understand a word of English? Right? He's standing there with a phone with his dispatcher or a friend or whatever on the phone translating back and forth. That is mind-boggling. So yeah, I agree with that. I think it should be done in Canada too. If you're going to come to Canada or the U.S., it should be one of your first priorities. If you want to come here, you want to live here, you have to learn to speak the language. Canada is a bilingual country. we've got two national languages, English and French. I don't speak a lick of fucking French, but whatever. But you should be able to you should have to be able to speak English before you can get into a commercial vehicle and do the job. Because not only your life, but somebody else's life depends on that. Depends on that. You know, and even let's say the truck driver that doesn't speak English, let's say he didn't have an accident, but he was witness to it. Who's he going to tell? Right? Who's he going to tell? He can't talk to anybody. You got to wait for a fucking translator to show up. And by then, you know, whatever the case could be, it could be too late. So, you know, again, you got to watch that. I agree with that decision 100%. 100%. It should be across the board, Canada, US, in order to drive a commercial vehicle. And that class is for Class A, which is your tractor trailer, Class B, which is your like your dump trucks, gravel trucks, shit like that, as long as you're not pulling a trailer. You know, anything like that. Any commercial vehicle, you should be speaking and reading and writing English. Absolutely 100%. I'm English and can't even speak the bloody language. Well, we don't hold that against you. You got brain damage. I think Mr. B's, I'm pretty sure it was just commercial vehicles. I think it was just the trucking industry. Wisconsin, who has the foreigner going to tell if he's a truck driver and can't speak English? Can you call it on the Citizen Band radio? Dude, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. That's what I have to do in Europe. Use Translate app. I don't speak any of their languages fluently. You know what, Robert? I don't know. Is that fair? Now, mind you, in Europe, it's a little different, okay? Because you come out of England and you're driving all over Europe. So you're in France, Germany, whatever. And those are all different languages. Here in North America, English is the prevalent language, right? It's the main language in both countries. So for here, that would work. Over there, I don't think it would be fair to expect you, Tyke, to have to be able to speak German, Russian, English, French, you know, whatever. That might be a different playing field, that you're playing on a different playing field than we are. But over here, it's all English, right? If you're an immigrant to Canada or the US and you're from another country, India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, whatever like that, and you're coming over here, you're coming here for a reason. Learn the language. Learn the language. Same in the US. You know, you guys got the same things going on down there that we have. Learn the language. It should be across the board. It should be a law. And I think, didn't Trump make it a law? Mr. B's, you as a truck driver do not have to help DOT with their roadside inspections. Yeah, I kind of like that. Mind you, do you want him climbing into your truck to turn your lights off and on and all that kind of shit? I really do not. I do not agree with DOT. But yeah, I've had the DOT a couple of times ask to take a look at my truck, and the answer is every time is adamantly no. You don't have that right. You are commercial law enforcement for mechanics, for the mechanic of the truck. It has nothing to do with what's in the back of my truck. That's my home. And I only let them get as far as the running board, right? If you want, they want to see you do your brake test, your air pressure test when you bleed your brakes down, and they want to see your buzzer come, listen to your buzzer come on, and they want to see the light come on. That's fine. You can stand on my running board and you can look in the window and you can hear it. I'll roll the window down. But I'm a firm believer in the fact that, you know what? You are allowed to see only what you can see with the naked eye from the running board. You do not have the right to look in the back of my truck. On the other hand, Mr. B's, again, I don't want the guy going, okay, well, here, jump out of your truck. I need to turn your lights on. You're not touching any of that either. So I don't know. Well, will I turn my lights on and do the thing, you know, when he's at the back of the truck? Will I go, turn my left signal on, turn my right signal on, turn my four-ways on, press my brake pedal? I will. Because if you don't, dude, you're going to be sitting there for 2 fucking hours, right? And then you're going to piss him off, and he's going to find something. It doesn't matter. Right, I've had the chat with the DOT officers, and in Canada they're called MTO officers, and they've all said it doesn't matter what truck you drive. You could buy a brand new truck right off the showroom floor, and if they look hard enough, they will find something wrong with it. So do I want to deal with that as well? No, I don't. So, you know, am I going to sit there and turn my lights off? Yeah, fuck it. Of course I am. Of course I am. I'm not going to sign myself up for more headache than I really need, right? How they measure the bridge clearance in New York City, because they're different than New Jersey. How so, Darius? What are you talking about? Like, obviously, in the U.S., in Jersey and in New York, they measure everything in feet and inches. I know that New Jersey at one point, if they posted a bridge at say 12 feet, it was actually 12.2. They had a 2-inch, and they did it on purpose, right? Because they didn't want the guys that are, you know, jamming trucks under the bridge. So they would be, but they didn't make that public knowledge. I know that New Jersey used to do that. I don't know if they're still doing it. Why wouldn't you help them? Exactly. If you refuse to, you just piss them off, and they will write you every little violation. I agree 100%. Freeway. I'm not looking for any more trouble than I absolutely have. I know my rights. Even as a Canadian driver in the U.S., I am still protected by your Constitution and your constitutional rights. A lot of Canadian drivers don't realize that. You know, there are certain rights in your Constitution that do protect me from inspection, from seizure, from, you know, shit like that. It's up to you to know what they are. And again, I'm not into pissing off. I'm not trying to piss off law enforcement. I don't need to make any more enemies. Sorry, officers, my brakes don't work, so I made the horn louder. That's it pretty much, eh? You have, okay, I get it, Mr. Bees. It didn't say it was smart to refuse, but you do have the right. Well, just because you have the right in that case, just because I have the right, it doesn't mean that I'm going to use that right or enforce that right. Like I said, when I get an inspection, I'm cool about it. Yes, sir. No, sir. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day, sir. You know, I'm not gonna kiss your ass, but I'm not gonna make your life. I want to get the fuck out of there. I got shit to do. If I'm sitting on the side of the road, or if I'm sitting in an inspection station, or for whatever reason, I'm taking an inspection, a level 1, 2, or 3. I don't want to be there 1 minute longer than I absolutely got to be. So crazy how Canada has more sense than some of the Americans in this country. Well, as a Canadian driver, do your goddamn homework, man. Learn what your rights. Like, I know my rights in Canada as for commercial vehicles, and what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do, and what they are allowed to do, and what they can ask me to do and what they can't ask me to do. I've turned down. I said, no, I'm not doing that. Well, we want it. No, you're not doing that. You know, you are here to make sure that my truck is mechanically sound. That is what your job is. Nothing else. Now, when you're dealing with like customs, U.S. customs or Canadian customs, the gloves come off. They can do whatever they want to you. They can take you out of the truck. They can put you in the truck. They can look in the back. They can look in the roof. They can climb. I've had them do it all. They can climb up your ass with a fucking microscope. Right? They can climb up your ass with a goddamn microscope if they want to. Immigration, Canada and U.S. Customs. And for the most part, I'll be honest with you, most of those guys and girls, great. Great. Occasionally, you're going to catch a customs officer that's having a bad day, that's pissed off, wife didn't take care of him that morning, whatever. And you're going to get a pissant. It happens. Right? It happens. You're going to get, or you're just going to get one that's got a little too much, well, this is who I am, and you're going to do you're going to get that. Right? You're going to get that. But I would say probably the high percentage of U.S. and Canada customs agents, they got a job to do. They know the job. If you do your job properly, you won't have any fucking problems with them. Singing is what I do. I love your name, man. That is an awesome, awesome, awesome name. Singing is what I do. I'm from Egypt. Well, thank you for being here from Egypt. Inspections are an old truck problem. Well, turn up the video speed. You know what? No, they're not. You think about this, okay? I'll give you, and here's an example, okay? Right now I have a 2020 Cascadia, and it's got more technology and shit on it than you can shake a fucking stick at. And even the newer ones, the 24s and the 25s, and there's so much shit on them that you have to keep and maintain. Then now, if you go back to when I had that 97 W9, basically, right? I had 10 tires, a steering wheel, a 60 series Detroit, an 18-speed Eaton Fuller transmission, differentials, you know, so you had engine, trans, and differentials. You got 10 tires, and you know, they're easier, much easier to maintain, as well as cheaper. So I don't buy into that. If you can maintain an older piece of equipment, and you've got it, and you can maintain it, dude, let me tell you, they're easier to pass inspections. I got pulled by Vosa in an old truck and passed. There was nearly 3 ones getting condemned. Exactly. How long is the Canadian training for a truck license? Ben, it depends on the school. You know, there's the crooked schools. They can get you in and out in fucking 20 days, right? And then they'll give you the truck. You take the test on, and they'll take you to their driving center that they have somebody, whatever. Or if you're at a reputable truck driving school, I think it's 90 days. I think it takes you 3 months. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's an area that the laws have changed so many times over the years. I don't know what it is. I never went to school. Man, back when I got my license, I went in, I paid I said this yesterday. I went in, I paid I think $75 for the written test. I passed the written test. And then I had to pay, I think, $125 for and it was a weekend, a Saturday, Sunday course for the air brake endorsement. And then I passed that. And then when it came time to take my driving test, I was working for a freight company, and I wasn't driving, obviously, but I was working for a freight company, and it was known that I was getting my license, and with a manager's help, I can actually say it doesn't matter because the guy's passed away now, but this old timer, he made arrangements with the shop to have a truck put out of service that day. So I had a truck and a trailer that were out of service. And what I did is I cheated. I took a rail container for my trailer. There's no rule that says you have to have a trailer. So I took a rail chassis, scrunched it down to 20-footer, right? So I had a 20-foot rail chassis. And then he made arrangements for me to, basically I stole the truck and the trailer, went the 15 minutes up the road to the drive center, took the driving test, passed, and brought the truck and trailer back in. And that's how I got my license. I never took a fucking class a day in my life. Take Americans, they're like mongrels. Heinz 57. I don't have you're talking Chinese again, you stupid Brits. In the 10 years of OTR, I can tell you I was only inspected 2 times, maybe 3 times tops. Companies with good reputations and newer trucks get inspected less. That's another good point. Turn up the video speed. That is an excellent point. If you're on with a company with a shitty CVOR score, when you're rolling up the ramp at the scales, right, nowadays they've got the technology in Canada and the US. Before you hit that scale house, they've already got a printout of, they've got your CVR score, they've got your driving license, they know the truck, the trailer, it's all on there before you even get there. If you're with a reputable company that's got a really good CVR score, yes, chances are they're gonna green light you and pass you through. But if you've got a company that's running around with dodgy equipment or raggedy old pieces of shit, you know, the bumpers are flapping, the fucking mud flaps are hanging off, and you know, you've got a ton of garbage up in your dashboard, and yeah, you're just asking for fucking trouble. Thought I was angry grandpa for a second. Ah, man, I've never heard that before. Now, the way I got my license, I don't suggest anybody do that today because, like I said, it won't work. You have to. I think it's law in Canada. I don't know about the U.S. Maybe somebody in the U.S. would know better than me. I don't know. In Canada now, though, it is the law. You do have to take a test. You do have to pass with a certain score. The problem we've got in Canada, and it's a big problem, is the schools are crooked. Right? They're going to put 12 guys in a truck, in a sleeper truck, and they're going to teach them all how to drive, and it's horrible. At least in the UK, you don't have to scale. Oh, goddamn, we got scales everywhere. Pretty much in the US, every time you enter a state, there's a scale. So from state to state, there's scales usually going into the state, and coming out of the state. Virginia is probably the worst one. I don't think the northbound Virginia scale, I don't think even on Christmas Day, I think that scale's open. New York is bad for their scales. Michigan, Indiana, Colorado. There's a lot of places that are bad for scales. So scales are everywhere here. It's just a part of life. There's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. So you better make sure your equipment and the company you're working for are in good standing. Ghost is finally rolling. Good for you. Ghost, please be safe. Some of us know what you do, and some of the freight that you're pulling. You're usually dragging some form of hazmat around. Sweetheart, be safe. American euro and Canadian dollar need no need to fight. Oh, Jesus Christ. The Canadian dollar is pathetic right now. I think the euro is even a little stronger right now than the US dollar. And I don't know. I haven't looked at what the US and Canadian dollar is doing right now, but the last time I checked, I think the US dollar was, or the Canadian dollar was worth 55 cents US. Like, that's pathetic. That is pathetic. I got my license collecting tokens off the back of cornflakes box. I believe that. Florida and Georgia are really meticulous on pulling everybody in, and Wyoming as well. So is Texas. Texas is like that as well. I got hit up on the CB by the yard dog, and he said, when you get to the yard, come and see me. I go and see him. He says, you got to go to the DMV and take a test. Next thing I know, I got what's called now a CDL. Hey. Banning California scale worst in America. You know what? I can't tell. I don't think freeway. I don't think I've ever crossed it. Cali is not on my list of places that I go, man. It's just not. Two reasons. One, the past companies that I've usually run with don't do a lot of it. And two, I'm not going in somewhere where I'm going to have to wait for 4 days to get a load out. Or I'm going to have to drive out to Nevada or fucking Arizona for a goddamn load. Don't buy weed without scales. Good advice. Took you 30 minutes to get your license. There you go. I went to Tri-County in Ayr, Ontario. It took about 5 months because of the COVID. Yeah, because of COVID. But Tri-County is reputable, Quinn. Tri-County is reputable. If you live in Ontario, and I know where Ayr is, obviously. Tri-County is a reputable truck driving school. They've got a name. They've been around a while, and they're reputable. But when you get into, say, and Quinn, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about here. When you get into, like, North Mississauga and Brampton, those truck driving schools are not reputable. And they are just fucking turning them out. Just mashing them out. It's like a fucking carousel. They're turning out drivers. We have scales, but they're rarely open. We get weighed going on the train, going onto the train or ferry into Europe, and all that goes on computer, so there's no need to scale us. Yeah, well, we don't have a lot of ferries around here. A lot of boats or ferries, or we got rail. We obviously got a lot of rail, but I couldn't tell you whether they get. Well, I think they do get weighed when the containers come off the trucks. The crane that's lifting them off, they weigh each one as it's coming off because they've got a scale built into the crane. So I'm pretty sure that, and they can ding you for an overweight container type shit like that. But they don't put a lot of trucks. We don't move a lot of trucks like, say, you guys would, where you'd roll the truck and the trailer right onto the rail car, and then the rail car will take you where you go, and then you drive it off and continue your truck. I don't think we don't have a lot of that in Canada. We don't have a lot of that in the U.S. either. I edge to your ramblings. Well, you know what, man? Well, however you got to get it, you get it. Todd Hills, Carlisle, or Beat Talk, worst I've been in. Though I'm assuming those are scale houses or towns or cities that you go into. And again, you know what? You go into the scale houses again, you know, you're going to get dicks and you're going to get guys that are fucking, they'll work with you, you know, they'll work with you. The state of Virginia, like I said, is the one that I know just from my own experience for the most traveled. Those two scales at the north and south end of 81 going through fucking Virginia, they're always open, right? They're always frickin' open. And I got caught, but they are very picky and particular. They will nail you. I was 800 pounds over gross, right? So I was 80,800 pounds over. And they pulled me in for it on 800 pounds. Most of the time, most scales are going to go. As long as your axles are go. But no, he pulled me in. And when I realized, you know, the guy's like, okay, this is this. He looks over your paperwork. He tells you, he gives you your scale ticket. He tells you, you know, this is what you are. You're 800 pounds over. And then he hands you your fine. Okay, and here's the thing about Virginia. Here's the fine. It's a penny a pound that you're over in Virginia. So if you're over by 800 pounds, the fine is $8, right? It's a penny a pound. So I'm standing there and he goes, okay, so you're 800 pounds, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like I'm going to catch a fine for this. It's a penny a pound. It was $8. But it was a $25 scale fee. And then there was a $75 administration fee. They don't get you on the weight. They get you on the fees, right? So the 75, I had $100 worth of fees and an $8 fine, right? An $8 fine. Son of a bitch, right? Excuse me. So an $8 fine, I took $100 for the fees. What do you do? Now, mind you, in some states, the fines are significantly different. They're ridiculous. I know Michigan has big fines. I had a friend of mine here. He got caught with an oversize, and he was out of his... anything through Michigan, you're mandated to maximum 55 mile an hour through Michigan with oversize. He got caught. He was doing like 59, 60, and a state trooper caught him. Michigan state trooper caught him, and then I don't even know where the fine... I don't know where the fines ended. It was ridiculous. It was a fucking list as long as my arm of fines that this poor bastard took. Virginia don't play. They pull regular vehicles over all the time. I drive from North Carolina, PA all the time. You know what I'm talking about, right? You know exactly what I'm talking about. I know that since the Newsom whack job put into play about bringing bees into Cali, the almond industry is devastated. I think guys like you have taken a real shit kicking, right? That have been in the bee industry for all these years. What you're allowed to do and take them now, I think it's... I think you guys have actually taken a pretty big shit kicking. Remote viewer, does Chasing Ghost have a link? I can't put her link up here. Usually Camille is here. He's not in today, or Tolga's here, and usually they're really good for that. They'll put a link up. Who else has a blue wrench? Bog-eyed has a wrench. Bog-eyed, if you've got the ability, do me a favor, go to Chasing Ghost, find her channel and throw it up there. Tyke Truckin', feel free to throw your link up there as well. You've really got some good shit on your channel when you're vlogging across England and across the U.S., across Europe. Feel free to put your link up there as well. Tyke, I had my cab searched at Todd Mills. I've had my truck tossed a few times. I have gotten myself into some trouble with U.S. Customs in Detroit. I let my mouth get the better of me, and I paid a very, very serious penalty for that. Every time I crossed Detroit for about 3 years, I was flagged automatically. Didn't matter. Automatically flagged, sent to secondary, or sent to X-ray, then sent to secondary. They tossed the truck, rip everything apart, throw everything on the floor, and they were doing it for a reason, because I got lippy with a customs agent, with a woman, and shame on me. That one's on me. It took 3 years before they took the flag off me. And actually, I was lucky because I was crossing the border in Sarnia at Port Huron into Port Huron, Michigan, and I was talking to another lady that was a customs agent. And I asked her, I said, like, what's the deal? And this is what's going on. And what do I have to do to make this right? How do I fix this? And she actually went in and she found out what was going on, and she removed it for me. So I got lucky in that case. Otherwise, I'd probably still be fucking flagged and going into Detroit. We have a 1,000-pound discrepancy allowance for fuel, and if you need a big shit. That's a big shit, dude. That's a big shit, let me tell you. We do not have 1,000-pound variance. Most places, if you know, our weight, depending on, for general freight, flatbed and vans, reefers, everything, our general, you know, our max capacity, Canada, in the U.S. is 80,000. In Canada, we're allowed 84,000. But since most of us have to go into U.S., we comply with the 80,000. If you are, say, 80,600, 80,500, something like that, most places they'll overlook it as long as your axles are okay. But if you get into 81,000, 82,000, no, they're grabbing you. They won't give you 1,000-pound variance discrepancy allowance for that. The only allowance for that is if you have like a generator, for example. You know, you've got a generator for, you know, what do you got, a Rig Master or a Thermo King, you got an APU. I think it's 400 or maybe 500 pounds. So if you're 80,500 and you've got a Rig Master or you've got a Thermo King APU, you're good, right? They give you that allowance for the APU. But other than that, you better have you better take yourself a serious dump before you cross the borders here. Yeah, I did. I videoed. I was live, and I don't know why I did it. They knew what I was doing. They found out while I was doing it what was going on. But I was live, and I was coming back into Canada, and I left. It was like this, right? So I was in my truck and whatnot, and I got called into secondary. In that case, they were going to come in and inspect the truck and everything like that, and inspect the load. And I left the live running. So you guys were in the live watching what was going on. And the U.S. watched, the agent came into the truck. You watched it all live as it happened. And I was locked in a little 6x6 cubicle box where they make the drivers sit while they do this. And it was quite funny. The guy came and got me afterwards, and he says, are you streaming right now? And I went, yeah. I told him the truth. I said, yeah. And he was all cool with it. He was all cool with it. I got a really good agent that day. He was all cool with it. I had no problem. He thought it was funny as hell. He says, I wasn't sure. I was looking at your phone and I was watching this stream, but the chat was moving, so I knew it was live. I said, yeah. He says, I thought about turning it off. I said, I'm glad you didn't. So he was good. I got away with it, but I don't suggest you try that. V-Star Rider, good to see you, man. No way. Never thought I'd never find your live again. Well, fuck, dude. Subscribe. Dude, we broke 12,000 subscribers on Saturday, and we were 2 subscribers away from 12,100 this morning. So I don't know what it's showing. I don't know if we ended up getting 2 more subscribers and got another 100 subscribers over this week. That'd be great if we did. It'd be awesome to hit 12,100, and let's just keep climbing. Let's just keep it going. Tyke, I've been asked to train and to be a VOSA operative. I wouldn't mind, you know what, if I was going to wind down my career in trucking, I could see myself going into, not immigration, but like working for Canada Customs, being a Canada Customs agent. But you got to go back to school for that. You got to go back to college. You need certain courses, same as like being a cop or something like that. You got to go back to school. You got to go back to college. You got to, all that kind of thing. And I don't know if I want to do that. Good pay on the dark side working for Darth Vosa. Well, that's exactly. Why does everyone think they know how to run someone else's life? That's a good question. That's a damn good question. You know what? Nobody should know. Nobody knows how to run. No, I don't know how to run your life or anybody else's life. I think the question should be, Sterling, is why don't people just mind their own business? Vosa is UK DOT. Oh, yeah, that's what I figured. But get back to, it's like, instead of trying to run everybody else, mind your business. Sterling, you got enough on your plate. You don't need to know what everybody else is doing, and I don't need to know what else is doing. People, vice versa, should just mind their fucking business. If you don't like what I'm doing, don't watch. If you don't like what the person I am, you don't have to talk to me. If you don't, if you don't like the way I live my life and what I'm doing, walk away. Mind your business. And I'll do the same. Yeah, we took a hit, but nowhere near what Cali is taking. Honeybees are very hard. Honeybees have a very hard time living in Cali. It's when we would bring them to them, that not only killing the almond is not only killing the almond. Okay, so basically you guys California doesn't have enough bees, and they're not allowing you to bring enough in to support the almond industry. Tennessee TV, there we go, brother. What's up? Good to see you, man. Where the hell you been this morning? You're usually one of the first, turn that down. Hold on. I just got a squelch. Turn that down. You're usually one of the first ones in, bright and early. I bet you got a brown skinny mark on your underwear. Joseph, I do not. You know why, Joseph? Because I don't wear underwear. Spent all morning on the lawnmower. Now it's beer o'clock. Attaboy, 2-4. But 2-4 now where you are, I think, what is it, 1 o'clock where you are? But time doesn't matter. I really don't think that you need an excuse to make it beer o'clock. I know you well enough now there, buddy, that I don't think you need an excuse to make any time beer o'clock. When I show my numbers on the trucking channel, it's going to start a shitstorm. Well, Sterling, I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't do it, man. I appreciate the open glass concept that some guys do. But I think that when you're in this business, especially on YouTube, and you are a known entity on YouTube, that when you are going to be, and of course it looks like, up front it looks like, okay, I've got a truck, I've got the trucking business, I'm in the business, I'm going to put all my numbers on the glass and be honest and show you guys what I make and how the business works. You are opening yourself up to more headache than anything else. Right? You really are. Yes, the good you're doing is good. You're showing people what can be done and what can and can't be done and what can be attained. But I think the scrutiny that you're opening yourself up to is just not worth the fucking headache. And if you're sensitive and you can't take fucking, and I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying YouTuber or person in general. If you're sensitive and you don't have a thick fucking skin, or you don't do it. I would have advised heavily against doing that. I have never put my numbers on the glass. Ever. I have never put my business, my corporation, anything. I have never put that on the glass. Nobody knows how much money I make or I don't make. So nobody knows if because here's the other thing that, let's just say I did that and I opened it up and I said, oh, this is you know what, when the time comes that you're struggling or you're not doing well, they're going to fucking crucify you. They're absolutely going to fucking crucify you. It's just, to me, I don't think it's worth it. I don't know. The IRS knows. Well, I'm Canadian, so we don't have IRS. We've got Revenue Canada, which is the same thing. It's called RevCan. Same goddamn thing. And do they know? Yeah, they know. But it's not public knowledge. You know, it's not public knowledge. You can't, I think a lot of the laws of what you can do and what you can find and what you can make public in the U.S. is different in Canada. Like you can't go to RevCan and get my corporate numbers and find out how much money my corporation's making or anything. You can't do that. You are Canadian, so when you work in the U.S., do you have to pay tax in the U.S.? No. No, I do not. I have to pay, I'm subject to IFTA. I'm subject to pay all your road taxes and all of that. But for income, no, I do not. Because I'm not paid by an American. I'm not an American, first of all, so I can't file taxes in your country. And I'm not paid the way I operate. I'm not paid by an American company or an American person, right? I'm not paid that way. I work for a Canadian, I lease myself on as an owner-operator. I lease myself on to a Canadian company. So anything to do with that, they deal with. I don't have to do that. Gross, one of those maple syrup drinking. I love maple syrup. Sorry. Transparency is not how the world works. I just wanted to help people not get trapped in the industry. Sterling, I 100% agree, you know, and I try to do the best I can with the helping the new guys and the new girls and everything like that. But I don't think I need to do, or I don't think I need to put my numbers on the glass to do it. I don't. I think there are other ways to do it. There's other forms of advice or ways that I can take you down a lane and I can show you what to do and what not to do based on my own experience. I don't think it all has to do with numbers. It doesn't all necessarily have to do with numbers. That yes, you want to be successful and you want to show big numbers if you can. But let me tell you, like I said, when you don't, they're going to fucking crucify you. Then they're going to call you a loser. Then they're going to call you a failure. Then they're going to call you... The list is endless of what they're going to call you, man. You know. You've taken that. You've taken those hits. Right? I'm just saying, myself, personally, I don't begrudge anybody that does it, but I wouldn't advise it. I wouldn't advise it. You know what? I don't think it's about the drama. Although Sterling, you and I both know that, you know, we do this and we like YouTube and we do, you know, I enjoy a little drama here and there. I do. So do you. You cannot fucking deny it. You can't sit there and say that, you know, you do this. And I've heard you say it, so it's not like I'm speaking out of turn here. You know, you like to come on YouTube because it's your outlet. And I get that. Same with me. Same with me. I enjoy doing what I do here on YouTube. I fuck around. It's my outlet. I get to blow off steam. I get to speak my mind. And it's mine. This YouTube channel is mine. I can do what I want to do, right? And it's a good outlet. But it's also another outlet where, you know what, I can maybe use this to help somebody. I can use it as a small teaching tool. I can whatever like that. And when you do something like that, you're gonna catch the trolls. You're gonna catch the drama. It's all gonna get. And it's also, let's face it, Sterling. We're talking about fucking truck drivers here. We're talking. God damn it, we're worse than a bunch of little old schoolgirls, man. You put 5 truck drivers in one spot for 10 minutes and you're going to hear more rumors and gossip than you will at the fucking old age home. I lived through my choices and I'm thankful for it. Well, we're all thankful for it. But we all have to live through our choices. Trust me, brother. You know enough about me, Sterling. I've made some very bad decisions and choices in life. I really have. Right? It's how we recover from it. But on the other hand, I'm not about to take anything that I've done wrong and I'm not about to plaster it up on YouTube. Why subject myself to fucking, you know, if I've made a mistake in something in trucking and business, I'll share it with you. This is, you know, if somebody says I'm doing this, I would say to them, well, you know what? I did that. This was the result. And I would advise against it, or I would say this is what I did to get out of it, or this is what I was advised to do. I would not pull out my fucking bank statements or my numbers for the week or whatever and show it. I would not do that. There's other ways to share and to teach than doing the math. The math is only part of it. Then they blame you when shit goes sideways. Mr. B's agreed, 100%. Do trucking companies in Canada have unions? Yes. Yes, we have the Teamsters up here as well. We've got unions up here. In 6 weeks, I had not a single number worth bragging about. Maybe 7.4 miles to the gallon. You know what? That's a personal choice that you made, dude. I myself, I would not have made those choices. More power to you for doing it, because you know by doing what you did, you know, that you knew you had to know when you were doing it that there was something coming back. There was going to be something coming back at you, and you were wrong. You were right. You know, you took some fucking abuse for it. You took some for it. But you had to know, brother. You had to know up front that was going to happen. If you're on a riding mower without a beer, you're doing it wrong. Quinn, Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. So 2-4 needs to step up his game. Mr. B's, Sterling is not that sensitive. He knows I'm not running at him. I'm not taking a run at him. Sterling knows undoubtedly that I love him very much and that I care about him and Red Lady very much and their welfare and their well-being and his career. I'm not taking a run at him. This is not what I'm doing. I've no way, shape, or form at all. All I'm saying is that, he made a choice and I would not have made that choice. That is the only thing I'm saying here, man. Sterling's got a thick enough skin and he knows me well enough. What's going on, Robin? Good to see you, man. He's got a thick enough skin and he knows me well enough that I am no way, shape, or form. I am in no way, shape, or form running him down or running him into the dirt or even saying that he's wrong. I'm not saying what he did was wrong. It was a personal choice. I would not have made that choice. There's no right and wrong here, right? And I think Sterling knows that. He knows that. Speaking of cunts, hey, Robin. I needed to see the country before I failed for the most part. You know what? Stop looking at it like a failure. And this is where I am going to fucking pound at you. Okay? Stop looking at it as a goddamn failure. Dude, I've got more fucking failures than you do. I promise you, I do. Okay? But it's how you look at the failure and how you deal with it. You failed. And I don't necessarily think what you did is a failure. I wouldn't say that you failed. You had a lot of shit against you to do what you did at the time that you did it. You picked the wrong time to do what you did. I'll tell you that. But when I fail at something, I try to learn from it and don't do it again. So don't make the same mistake twice. Basically, is what I'm saying. Chalk it up as you learn something new. Learn something new. I try to learn something new every day if I can. I'm not successful at that. I am not successful at that either. Okay? I do fall. I do fail. I do falter. I make my mistakes just like every other man. You know what? As I said earlier, I've been in this business a long time, and sometimes I've been fucking lucky. Right? There's been times in this business, guys, where, I've been at that point where I've been just one check engine light away from bankruptcy. And I got lucky. I didn't do this on my own. Sterling, you're not going to do it on your own. Everybody knows if you're in this business, it's a fucking personal thing. Exactly, Mr. Bees. Thank you for saying that. It's important. Well, the country as a whole is a failure. The industry. I can't say that the country is a failure. It's not, because there's a lot of really good people in the United States and Canada. The people are good people. The trucking industry is not a good industry right now. It needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of guidance. Unfortunately, where we're getting our guidance from, the old timers are all retiring and they're getting out, and guys my age are getting out. It's not worth it anymore to do this anymore. And they're walking the fuck away. And that's a shame, because back in the day, back years and years ago, it was taught. Like, this business was taught to us. We didn't go to school. There's no university or college for this. It was taught to us. The old timer would pass on to the next guy, and the next guy would pass it on to the next guy. And that's how, and then now that has stopped. For the most part, that stopped. All those guys that were the teachers are no longer teaching. And the next generation coming in, say my generation, yeah, we're still trying to teach, but the generation coming in that we're trying to teach doesn't want to listen, right? They already come in and self-entitled and they know everything, so they don't want to listen. And if the ones that do, I'll gladly fucking talk to you all day long, and I'll help you if I can. And like I said before, I don't have all the answers. Sterling, you do not have all the answers. Nobody has all the answers, but I do know for a fact that if I don't have the answer, I probably know somebody that does, and I can get you the answer. You're not a failure. Everyone has chapters in their book, and they're not all perfect. Exactly. No, and nobody says that you failed. It's a fucking lesson, man. You know what? Again, it's a fucking lesson. I've learned some hard lessons. Freeway's out of here. Thanks, Freeway, for your attention this morning. Thank you very much. Do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and hit that like button. I'd appreciate that. Sterling, the country won't fail. A lot of people will financially because they're resetting the failed experiment called fiat currency. I don't know about that. That's not in my realm of fucking expertise. Let me tell you, it's really not. I blame the hippies. They made earning a living seem like a drag. Well, you know what, remote viewer, you got to blame somebody. You want to blame the hippies? Knock yourself out. Who are the hippies going to blame? Well, we already know who the hippies blame. The hippies are going to blame the government, right? The hippies blame the government. Sorry, I had to open this window. You guys are going to get a wind for a minute? I just had to open this window. It is freaking hot here. It is hot as shit here. I should probably take the hoodie off. Am I wearing a t-shirt? Yeah, I got a t-shirt underneath. I'll take the hoodie off in a minute. Oh, no, you're out of trucking. Well, yeah, I'm glad you're out of trucking, but you did your time, you know? And I think Freeway, you and, some other guys that I know, you got out before it broke you. How many truck drivers, old timers, do you see they get out of this business and when they finally walk away, how many guys do you see that are absolutely broken? Not necessarily broke, but they're just broken, right? Their spirit's broken. Their soul is in fucking absolute disrepair. And they're just broken men and women, and because they stayed too long, Freeway, you got out when it was time to get out. I'd like to think that I'm going to take my exit, when my time comes and it's time for me to go. I'm not going to be that guy that's 60 years old or 65 years old, and I'm at the truck stop and I'm hanging over the steering wheel because I can't do it anymore. But I'm out there because I have to be, not because I necessarily want to be, and that's a shame. And you see them all the time in truck stops. Guys, that guy is 25 years past his prime and he has no business being in that truck. And he doesn't want to be in that truck. He's in that truck because he absolutely has to be in that truck, not because he wants to be. I will not be that guy. I will not be that guy. Get naked. Get naked. Woo! Brian Cheats. The names are getting more creative by the minute here. Let's take the hoodie off. Be right back. This portion of the program is sponsored and brought to you today by Brian Cheats. Oh, much better. Whew, much better. They have it all worked out that you cannot make money in trucking. You will make just enough to make that payment. I don't necessarily agree. There's still guys out here that are making a good, comfortable living. Are they having to work harder to do it? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I made a point of saying, or I made a comment the other day that I was going through and I found a bunch of my statements from back in 2015. My truck was not making as much money. My truck today generates more money than it did back in 2015, yet I personally made more money back then, right? I was more profitable back then. So is it possible to make money and still be comfortable and have a good life as a truck driver today, as an owner-operator? Yes, but you are going to have to work harder to do it. I'm sorry to tell you, man. If that's disappointing, it's disappointing, but that's just the way it is, unfortunately. $250 for what? What's that? Sorry, what? $250 for what? 2.5 hours. Not a bad day. Hey, you want to pay me $250 to sit here for 2.5 hours and blab? I'll take it. I'm sure this guy has a big man. Yeah, I'm sure. That's all it is. I've got an interview with a heavy haul company. Well, my friend, there's money there. There's money there. I'm telling you, the heavy haul and the oversized, there is money there. But I'm going to tell you, you guys know me. You've seen me do it. You've seen me do the heavy haul. Some of you have actually that knew me, not know me personally, have seen me when I was doing the oversized and the super large and shit like that. That's a whole new fucking animal of trucking, dude. Hats off to you for doing it. But it's a whole new fucking animal. It's a whole different brain space you're in. It's a whole different part of business. It's a whole, if you're doing it as a company driver, then, obviously, then you've got a set pay. You're going to make more money. As an owner operator, and let me tell you something, as an owner operator, it's a mind fuck when you have to get into the rates when, depending on what you're pulling, how much you're pulling, the weights, the permits, this, all of that kind of shit. Let me tell you. True Canadian, anything above 15 degrees is fucking hot. Yeah, exactly. Like I'm sitting here roasting, but mind you, it's over 15 degrees. It's probably about 17 or 18 degrees here right now. We're supposed to go up into the mid 20s. So I don't know what that is. Probably the high 70s, whatever for you guys. But yeah, I get anything over 15 degrees, 16 degrees. It's like, no, time to get the clothes off. How many trucks get their sorry. The whole chat just went doop. Does many trucks get their cargo stolen? This happens a lot in France. It happens everywhere, man. Canada, US. I myself, I've never had freight stolen off my truck, but I've had fuel taken out of my truck for years. I've always had a dog in my truck with me. I've always kept a dog with me, not necessarily for security, but just for company. And most of the time, if somebody's doing something they're not supposed to, for example, I've had somebody taking fuel out of my truck while I was sleeping, and I didn't hear a goddamn thing, but my little guy, he knew something was going on, and he went off like a fucking 5-alarm fire blaze horn and let me know something was going on. I've never had freight stolen, but I've had fuel taken out. Sterling, that'd be a good move. They have a school in Texas. Great, shows you how to load, unload heavy equipment. It would be, it will help open up that door, bro. It's 100% worth taking. I don't disagree with that. Any chance you can get to, again, we were talking earlier, to expand your resume, blow that resume up, and getting into heavy haul or oversize. Now, I don't know. There's a difference between heavy haul and oversized, right? Oversized freight, it's in the name, right? Oversized freight is shit that's hanging off the side of your trailer. It's, over bridge heights, it's wide, it's too long, it's whatever, that kind of shit is oversized. Heavy haul can be freight that fits on the trailer, nothing's hanging off. You're just way over, the posted regular weights, and you need to be permitted for it. You need to be equipped for it. Your truck needs to be equipped for it. Your trailer needs to be equipped for it. So there is a difference. You like this one better, Robert? There you go. This one's for you, baby. My father made good money when he's on hauling mail for postal service. He'd get paid twice from trucking company and post office. That's not a bad deal. That's not a bad deal. Love the shirt. Thank you, Stephanie. I can't see you, sweetheart, or I'd say I love your shirt too. I'm sure it's pretty cool. Crazy dude. There you go. There's your shout out. First one's free. You don't get another one. Driving new Pete's with 18 and 600 Cummins. Well, I'd say they're pretty much equipped to pull anything. That's what the company that I came off of, their heavy haul division and their oversized, that's what they're pulling. They got the Pete's with the 18-speed manuals, and they've got the X15, the new X15 Cummins in them, and they're all cracked up at 600 plus. Some of them are even more. I think some of them are up at 650. Now, mind you, that's a company there that when they're doing oversized and heavy, like when you're pulling some of those transformers are like 18 feet wide, 18 feet long, 16 feet high, and they weigh 270,000 pounds. Your equipment better be able to work with that. Do you read your emails, Brian? Well, you're the second person to tell me this. I don't know. I'm having problem because somebody else earlier was saying that they sent me some pictures in an email, and I have not been getting them. So I'm going to go and check my spam and my junk. Maybe everything's going to junk, and I don't know. I'm going to have to go and double check that because I'm not getting anything. If you're sending anything to the Wheel Burner Express email, I'm getting like, odd this and that and whatever, but I'm not getting anything from anybody else. That's a nice ride though, eh, Sterling? Take the new Pete's with the 18 speed. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. The new companies, and the companies that are doing, they are going to the autos. A lot of the tanker companies in Ontario and in Canada, they're going to the 18 speed automated with their heavy haul, or especially the tankers that are the 4 or 5 axle tankers. They are going, and they're going to the automated transmission. So I'm not 100% sure what you'll be driving. Hopefully you're driving a manual for that. When I'm doing super heavy and shit like that, I want control. I want my foot on a clutch, you know. I only support furries. There you go. See, I am a heavy equipment operator with a CDL. That helped me a great deal in life. And companies loved that I did not have to have someone waiting for the driver to show up. I'm not a heavy equipment operator, but I've had to, most of the time, depending on what you're picking up or where you're picking it up from, they will not load it. So a lot of the time, like with the big equipment, trucks, tractors, farm equipment, combine, shit like that, you have to load it yourself. You have to load it yourself. So you got to know how to operate some of this stuff. And Mr. B's, you did it backwards. You were already the equipment operator with the CDL. You were way ahead of everybody else. That's the right way to do it. And you owned your own truck. This company refuses to hire use auto. Well, that's good. That's good. Myself personally, if I'm pulling that kind of weight, like super heavy. Well, and what I call heavy haul is like 100,000, 120,000. An automated transmission can handle that no problem. I've got proof of that, right? Like I've got a Cascadia that's just a standard truck. And for 2 years, I ran heavy haul, and my average weight was around 100,000, a little over 100,000 pounds. And that transmission handled that no problem. But you get into the super heavy, when I'm talking, you get into the 250, 300,000, 350,000 pounds. I want a clutch. I want a clutch, right? I'm not fucking around with sensors and on the accelerator pedals and the sensors on the auto transmit. No, sir. I want a clutch. I want to feel every single thing that engine is doing and that transmission is doing. I want to, because you can feel it. You do this long enough, Sterling, Mr. B's, Craig, even Craig, that you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you've got that clutch is telling you everything that's going on with that transmission and that engine. You know exactly, and you can tell by the feeling and the vibration that's going through your leg. So when you're getting into the big heavy haul and an operation, shit like that, I want a clutch. I want a clutch. The more I know that's going on with my equipment, the better off I'm going to be. Clutch, Yukon, exactly. Clutch is the way to go way to go pulling. The automated, those are good for general freight. Like I said, I was on the heavy haul board and I was pulling, 100,000, 105, whatever, 100, sometimes 110. And I had a DT12, right? I had a Detroit, a DD15 Detroit engine, and that's what I've got. I've got the DT12, the Detroit transmission, the DT12 automated, and it handled that kind of weight, no problem. Anything over that, man, no. That I don't want to subject myself to more problem. With Detroit, with these DT12s, you can't fix them. Detroit says that, oh no, you need a new clutch. You can't fix them. I call bullshit on that, but my last truck was auto. I like driving it, a retarded mobility scooter. And don't get me wrong, hey, bog-eyed, I got no problem with the auto transmissions. I was, for most of my trucking career, I had an 18-speed manual. Loved it. Loved it. And I was one of those guys that was like, oh, it'll be a cold day in hell. You'll ever see me driving an auto and dun, 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 dun. And then we did all that testing and we did those things over on ET's channel. And I did that 90-day challenge with Ronan over on the ET channel. And he gave me the truck that I'm driving today. It was, like I said, it was 8 months old. And we did a 90-day challenge comparing the fuel, the numbers, the mileage, the maintenance, everything. And he put that all up on the glass. And that automated transmission kicked the shit out of me. I mean, and I was a believer. I mean, it kicked the shit out of me as compared to my numbers with a manual transmission. I couldn't compete. You can't compete with a computer in that realm. Now, you're going to get into the heavy haul. That's a whole, that you throw all that right out the fucking window. They haul up to 2 million pound transformers, mine trucks. Yeah. I don't know, Sterling, if they're going to take you and throw you at a 2 million pound load right off the hop. Chances are, and this is just my experience on doing heavy haul, chances are for the first little while, the experienced boys are going to be pulling the big shit, and you're going to be pulling all the accessories. So, you know, there might be, you know, a transformer, or there might be a piece of equipment that's a million pounds, and say a part of the claw or a part of the boom or a part of something that might be a 100,000 pounds. They'll put that on you, right? And then you will work up to the two. I don't know if they're going to give you a 2 million pound transformer. One pull rig, 2 pushers. There you go. A couple of Jeeps. I had to unload my equipment a few times to pull my truck out of the muck. I got stopped in the middle. That's the bonus about that, eh? That's the bonus about that. If you get stuck in the mud, you can unload your equipment and pull yourself out. Manual car, manual truck, all the way. I like to be in control. Well, you know what? This car here has got a 6-speed manual, but I'll be honest with you. Do I enjoy driving it? Yeah, but would I rather have an auto? Yeah. My girl though, hey, she's hardcore. She won't drive it if it ain't a manual. If it don't have a fucking manual transmission, she ain't driving it, man. My hat's off to her. But when you've been driving truck as many fucking years as I've been driving truck, and you've been jamming gears with an 18 speed, I'll take the auto. You know what? The first time I sat in fucking rush hour traffic in Atlanta in an auto, sold me right there. Bog-eyed, it sold me right there. Give me an auto. When you're sitting in rush hour traffic, or you're sitting in any kind of traffic, and there's an accident, and you don't get that clutch leg. Oh. Let me tell you, man, there's nothing better in the world. I'm sold on the auto. If I was buying another truck, and I am not buying another truck, if I was, it's going to be an auto. It would be an auto. I would get, probably, if I won the lottery tomorrow and could buy the truck, I'd buy that, I'd buy the T680 with the Cummins, the X15 Performance Cummins. Or sorry, no, I'd take the Economy Cummins, X15, 12-speed automated with the overdrive. I'd put 264 rear ends in the ass of that thing, and I'd be cruising at 10 miles per gallon all day long. Good night from India, man. Well, thanks for popping in from India. 6-speed in a Civic Si. Well, okay, here's the thing. Don't get me wrong. If you're gonna give me a little something a little sporty, you know, you want to give me like a Mustang, or you want to give me a fucking Camaro, you want to give me something like that. Yeah, I'd love to have a fucking 6-speed manual in a performance car, right? Because then you can use your RPMs for what and the engine for what it's supposed to be used for, and you have a little more chance, a little more choice of what you want to do. But if you're driving just a regular car, fuck that. Give me an automatic. Yeah, Atlanta is not the place. Chicago, Atlanta, Toronto. Toronto is probably the worst rush hour traffic you're ever going to see. I challenge anybody. You guys all go, oh, well, we got Chicago, we got Atlanta, we got New York. Yeah, we got whatever, Dallas or whatever. Fuck that. Go to Toronto. Go to Toronto. I hope you get the gig, bro. I think it would be best thing for you. Don't get in over your head. You're going to do 65, 70 miles an hour most of the time. We are below 50. Yes, but the good thing about that, Mr. Bees, is you are usually paid to compensate for that. You are paid accordingly. They know when you get into oversize and get into heavy haul, you know, a 300-mile trip is all day, right? Whereas when I do a 300-mile trip, that's 6 hours. Right? You do 300 miles with 200 or a 2 million pound transformer on the trailer. That's a day and a half drive. You're not going anywhere fast. Let me tell you. Eaton Fuller 13-speed Road Ranger was my favorite. The twin splitters wasn't smooth enough. Road Ranger, Tyke, I'm not familiar. I know with the Eaton Fuller 13-speed with the splitter, but Road Ranger. I'm going to have to look that up, my friend. Yeah, you're getting top dollar to drive slow. So that it does make it worth your while. It does make it worth your while. I tell you that. Let me tell you. There was times, you know, like we would pick up, you know, those great big windmills, the fucking wind turbines. Those actually get shipped in pieces. Like all the blades get shipped individually. You guys have seen those blades go. Now you pick up, they come off the ship, right? And usually it was down in Norfolk where we'd pick those up. And you'd pick up one of those and you'd go from Norfolk. And at that time we were taking them up to Chatham, Ontario, and we were taking them up to Wyoming, Ontario, where the big wind farms are. And we would take those up. That was 3 days, man. That's a 1-day drive. Okay, that's a 1-day drive. You're hauling, or maybe a 1 and a bit day drive. That's a 3-day drive because you're not going on regular roads. You know, you're routed. You are routed. You are permitted and routed, and you will follow that fucking route, and you are escorted. You've got with those there. You'd have 3 escorts plus a cop, usually a cop. So yeah, but what I would make in 1 day on regular freight, I would make 10 times that on a 3-day haul, pulling one of those, doing the oversize. So is it worth it? Yes. Yes, it's well worth it. It's well worth it. Now, if you make a mistake and you fuck it up, that's not good. It's not worth it then, let me tell you. Rush hour traffic in Toronto never stops. Not anymore, it doesn't. It used to, years and years ago. Rush hour would start at 5:36 in the morning, run till about 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. And then you get from 10 o'clock till about 2 o'clock, 2:30, and then it would start vamping up again, and you go from like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, rush hour right through till about 7 o'clock, and then it would die off. Nowadays, and that was Monday to Friday, right? Nowadays, Toronto, all day, all night, there's no time limit. I know I've driven more miles than I've smoked cigs. Yeah, you and me both, Robert. What do you think about Katy Perry in general? Could care less about Katy Perry. Can you please, come on. My buddy Dave did that for years, hated it. Those big blades are light and they're awkward to strap down. Well, nowadays, they're not so awkward. The trailers are built now for them, and that's all that trailer is used for, right? So nowadays, basically, they're put into cradles. Yes, you're having to secure them. Yeah, they got to be strapped. The biggest problem with those is the wind, believe it or not. It's the wind. Yes, going around corners is difficult. Yes, but a lot of that is taken care of for you by escort and police. The biggest hazard pulling those blades is the fucking wind. I tell you right now, a good 15 to 20 mile an hour wind will shut you down. How much meth have I never smoked meth in my life? When I was a drug addict back in the day, we didn't have meth. Meth wasn't even around anymore. Or it wasn't even around yet. Listen to this, everybody. Pay attention, please. Please, everybody. Chris 1911. This man has never driven a day in his life. Chris, go look at my channel. I've got more miles backing into truck stops than you do driving your fucking car forward. Give me a break. Good afternoon, big dog. Damn good to see you, man. It's afternoon where you are. It's 10 to 11 a.m. where I'm at. So, you know what? Sorry, it's not. It's good morning to me, good afternoon to you. But damn, it's good to see you, man. Thanks for being in here. Yeah, really. Thank you. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate that. Yeah, that wasn't me driving my truck on the ice roads. No, never done that. I have really good AI. Really good AI. It was crank before it was meth. Never did the crank. Hope you're having a great day. You know what? I'm not having a bad day at all. I had to take some clothes off. It's getting a little freaking hot here, but we're having a good day today. Kelby Lyon, am I Canadian? Yes, I am. I am Canadian. I'm out in Alberta. If you're Canadian, obviously you know where that is. If you're an American, I'm in the second last province to the west. There's the next one to me is BC, and if you're an American, my province borders with Montana. I'm 3.5 hours that way to Montana. We're not going to do the raffle this year, Mr. Bees. Saskatchewan here. There you go. Damn it. Saskatchewan. So for me, from where I am in Strathmore to the Saskatchewan line, I think I'm about 3.5 hours. So I can go 3.5 hours that way, right? I can go 3.5 hours that way, right there. I'm pointing due east right now because we watched the sun come up this morning. So if I go 3.5 hours that way, I can be in Saskatchewan, or I can go 3.5 hours that way and be in Montana. And if I go 3.5 hours that way, westbound, I'll be up in the mountains. Brian, the Tasmanian haggis says you look okay, really, for being sober. Well, thanks, man. If you think I look okay now, you should have seen me back then. So you won't need a set of boards then. Oh, no, Mr. Beast, we're going to need the boards. We're just not doing the raffle. We're going to need the boards. Okay? No, don't worry about it. We're going to get the... We're going to get the boards. We're going to get the boards from you. Absolutely 100%. We're going to do the same thing with Forgotten Angels this year. Nothing of that part has changed, Mr. B's. We're going to need them. We're just not going to do the wheel raffle this year for the boards. I think last year with the boards, it raised, I think, $2,200 or $2,500. The boards alone raised. I think we can do better. You know what I'm saying, Mr. Bees? I think we can do better, and I think I would like to try and do better. And even though you know your boards were like $550 boards when you sell them retail, and they got $2,200 or $2,500, whatever they got, I think we can do better with that. And I would very much like to try to do better with that. They are worth every penny, and they are worth every ounce of energy that you put into them. And I appreciate the work that you did do, and I appreciate it. And I enjoyed doing the lives with you while you were sitting there working. And we're gonna do that again as well. So don't worry about that. But we're just not gonna do the spin wheel raffle thing. We're gonna come up with something different. We're gonna come up with something else this year, and we're gonna try to get a little more money for them. We did 2,600. Is that what it was? Brian, you perked Susie's interest. Did you look better back then? Oh, damn, did I? Oh, right now I'm built for comfort, not for speed. Back then, reverse those. We did 2,600. I'm not sure if you could do better than that. Well, you know what? We're going to try. Because you can't come up with you certainly cannot come up with a better fucking, better charity and a better cause. And if I can milk every single penny, if I can pimp and prostitute myself out there, to get money for those kids, then you know I'm going to do it, Mr. Bees. I will prostitute myself to the last fucking ounce of what I am to get Dave and Cindy that money. So, and I'm going to I'm gonna pimp myself to every single one of you. I'm gonna fucking be everybody in my audience and everybody that knows what we do. I'm gonna be coming at you because we're gonna be raising more money this year. We did $12,600 last year. I want to double it. That's the bar we're setting for. We did 6,800 the year before. We did 12,600 last year. This year, man, I'd like to double it. I'd like to see a 2 on the first number. I look better, clean, and built for comfort. Whew. I'm getting a little hot in here. It's getting a little hot in here. Dude, you control your woman. Carl, good to see you. Lethbridge here. Well, man, you're not far from me either. Do you think we'll have a referendum? What are your thoughts on the whole thing? Let's say this, okay, Carl? If you want to move to Alberta, I suggest you do it now or soon, because if it separates, you won't be getting in then. It'll be a whole lot harder to get in then. My thoughts on it are, do I want to see it happen? No. I want my country to stay intact. Now, here, Carl, you're going to understand this. If Quebec decided to take their ball and fuck off and go home, they can go. But the rest of Canada, I would very much like to see my country intact. But if what's best for the Alberta people is to separate themselves and become its own entity, its own country, its own state, its own union or state, whatever, if that is what is in the best interest of the people and it's going to work for the people, then I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't disagree with it. Okay? I wouldn't disagree with it. But I'm saying, you know, if you want to come to Alberta, I suggest you do it sooner than later, because if it separates, they're not just going to take everybody that's coming in. It's going to be like trying to get into another country or something, because there's going to be borders and there's going to be checks and there's going to be all the way down the line. Okay, I've been staying away from this conversation, but since the door is open, how the hell does Alberta leave Canada? Well, you have what's called a referendum, like Carl just pointed out. And the provincial government steps in and says, okay, we are taking over. And which point of the provincial government would have to form a federal government, because then we'd be our own entity. In order to do, and don't get me wrong, it's not easy to do. It is not going to, if they do it, it will not be easy to do. Danielle Smith will have her hands full trying to get this done. If this is an area, she would have to have the big company, the big oil, the big industry. They would have to have everybody on board. You couldn't do it with, 51% said yes, so we're going to do it. It won't work that way. It doesn't work that way. But they would literally have to form their own government. They would have, and don't get me wrong, all of that would be in place long before they separated. That would all be done and taken care of. But literally, they would separate and say, we've had enough. And it would have to be done by the vote of the people. Okay, the government alone here in Alberta cannot say, okay, we're going to separate. Right? It has to be done by the vote of the people, and there would have to be a certain number, a majority of people to say yes to make that happen. Alberta will join the USA. It will not. It will not. It's not in Alberta's best interest to become another province or another state in the U.S. Remember something, Alberta is the only province in Canada that is 100% self-supporting. Yes, we have some debt, but we don't have like big debt. We have all of the natural resources of Canada. We've got them all, right? Gas and oil being the two biggest, right? Lumber, a lot of lumber comes out of northern Alberta. We have the ability to be 100% self-supporting without any federal funding or any federal help from the federal Canadian government or from any help from any of the other provinces. If you look at a lot of Alberta's natural resources, the money from our resources gets piped out to other provinces that don't have that. Now, most of our other provinces are absolutely in debt and drowning. Alberta supports probably a good portion of the Canadian provinces, with the exception of Ontario, Quebec, not even Quebec, Ontario, BC, Ontario and BC, probably the only two, I think. Every other province benefits from what is coming out of Alberta. Now, if Alberta was to turn all that off and go, okay, we are now supporting ourselves, we are now our own entity, that's going to cause a big problem for a lot of other Canadian provinces and for the Canadian federal government. Is it in our best interest to become a U.S. state? Fuck no. Where do you think most of our oil and gas goes to? You think we're going to give it to them any cheaper? No, absolutely not. Alberta would have to be its own, on its own. It would have 4 borders, right? Border with Montana, border with Saskatchewan, border with BC, and border with Northwest Territories and Yukon. There would have to be 4 borders. It would have to be an entity on its own. The supermajority of Albertans don't support. Lifelight, you know what? I'm not 100% sure. You could be right, man. You could be right. She probably would have the U.S. behind her. She would definitely have the U.S. behind her. Trump would be behind her 100%. He would literally be throwing fucking truckloads of money at her to make that happen. Gotta go, Brian. Take care, folks. P.S. The only chance you have with Susie is an Iron Brew tasting session. Bring it on, baby. She won't be the same woman you get when I give her back. I promise you. World's 4th largest reserve of oil is in Alberta. Exactly. And the funny thing is, not a goofy bootlicker, is that there's only 25 million people in Canada, right? Alberta is 3 times larger than the whole of the British, or I'm not going to pronounce it, including Ireland. Alberta is big enough to stand alone, just like Texas. It is. And here is the thing, Tyke. Alberta has only 4 million people in it. It's only got 4 million people. So you think about that. You take a country with only 4 million people with the resources that we have, how well would our country be? How the citizens in our country, how well could they possibly be if those natural resources are fed into the people and the taxes and everything like that are controlled? How well would the people be living in the province of Alberta if that happened? We'd be living very well. We would be living very, very well. It is an interesting idea. Can I sing, Lucy? Not a chance in shit. Is it an interesting idea, though? Didn't know Alberta has so much natural lifelike. We got all of them. We got all of them. The only thing we don't really make a lot of up here is steel, right? But for the big 3, natural gas and oil, those are the big 2 boomers right there, baby. And then we've got lumber, right? I don't know what our steel production is. Here we go. I apologize. A phone call came in. Had a phone call come in, and it just interrupted the stream for a minute. My apologies. Sorry about that. Either way, do I see it happening? Let's get back to this. Do I see it happening? Oh, there's a chance. But do I see it? I don't know. I don't think so. What's Iron Brew? Oh my God. 2-4. Go to Sobeys. Sobeys had it. It's a drink. It's an orange drink from Scotland, and it is an orgasm for your mouth. It is so delicious. Sorry, I got to plug in the phone. It is so good. I can live on it. I can live on Iron Brew. I can live on that and water. There you go. The Brit has spoken. The Brit has spoken. A soft drink brewed in Scotland from girders. Who gives a shit what it comes from? It is delicious. We've got all the coal to make steel. Am I Mexican? Do I look like a fucking Mexican to you? And if I was a Mexican, does that make a difference? Hey? Go check it out. It's expensive, though. Like, it's expensive because it's imported. 2-4. So, you know, like we got the 355 milliliter cans of Coke or Pepsi or Pop. And, you know, a bottle of Iron Brew, it comes in a bottle. You can get it in cans, but I think Sobeys carries it in the bottles, and it's the only place you can get it. I think they're one of the only grocery store chains in Canada that brings it in. And it's expensive. You're looking at over $3 for a bottle of this stuff. It's worth it, though. It's damn worth it. Anarchapelagio. Oh, that's the best I'm going to do. Anarchapelagio. Fuck it. Wait till I get teeth. Let me try that again. So I guess the people will be Albertans and not Canadians. You know what, Mr. Bees? That's a really good point. Who knows? They would be. I think most Albertans consider themselves Albertans anyway. Yeah, they're Canadians, but they're Albertans first, Canadians second. Iraq and Libya also have had a lot of their own gas and oil, and what happened to them after the U.S. arrived. Honest taxpayer, that's a damn good... It's not just Iraq and Libya. Look at any of the countries over there. Kuwait, any of the major, with the exception of the Saudis, right? With the exception of the Saudis, you look at any of those countries over there that the U.S. has dabbled in, what happened? We started C-17 Globemaster and is maneuvering from morning here. There you go, Ghost Watcher. Archipelagio. There, I said it faster. Archipelagio. See, Robert, that's all you had to fucking do. I pissed Brian off when I showed him the bottles and cans we get here. Yeah, 2-liter bottle of... it's actually good that they don't have those. Okay, it's good that they don't have fucking 2-liter or 4-liter bottles of Iron Brew here, because it would be unhealthy. It would be detrimental to my health. With the amount that I would actually drink, it would be absolutely disgusting. It would be coming out my pores. Pakistan is dead again. I can't say that that's necessarily U.S.'s fault, though. It's an English word describing our group of islands. It's an English word describing our group of islands because we live here. That's sorry. I'm looking at India. I'm looking at Ghost Watcher's comment. India is bullying, and then Sterling came up right underneath it, and it was like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I farted and it made my fart sensual. There you go. There you go. Not a bad gag, dude. J2 Dupuli? Ploy? Good name, man. Can I have your number? No, we're not handing out phone numbers. That's a pretty shitty joke, Sterling, by the way. Mr. B says. I agree. Well, guys, you know what? Good stream. I like what we talked about here today. We got some good comments. We got a good stream. Got a good bunch of people in here. Appreciate the conversation. I like the conversations where we're thinking. You know, the topics that make you think. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like to go off and we get off on the wild talks about cars and bikes and more. I love that. But I also like the talks where we're talking and learning, and you know, I learned something new. I got no problem with that. You know, I got no problem with I don't mind learning something new every day. And I do. I learned something new today. I learned a bunch of shit today. Hopefully some of you did too. Not necessarily from me. Some people tell me I'm snack. I'm actually a meal. There you go. You're wearing an Iron Maiden shirt. I figure you as a metalhead. Yeah, back in the day metalhead. I'm not a modern day metalhead. I am a mid 80s to early 90s mid 90s metalhead. I grew up in the generation with Maiden, Priest, Crew, you know, Deep Purple, fucking Ozzy, Sabbath. All the originals of metal back in the day. That's what I grew up with. And then we got past all of that and I kind of lost interest in where metal was going. Thanks, remote viewer. Appreciate that. Guys, do me a favor, though, when we're going to wind this up, do me a favor and hit the like button on your way out. You wouldn't expect one who lives on a continent to use it regularly or know it. Well, dude, I've twisted my goddamn tongue around my fucking mouth 13 times trying to say it. I give up. So, last year in India, I mistakenly fired a supersonic missile on Pakistan, and Pakistan Chinese air defense didn't able to detect that, and it struck a village in Pakistan. I did not know that. Sorry to hear that. Have you set a date? Yeah, last week. I think the last we're gonna do it the last Saturday in June, Freeway. So I hope you're all growed out. I'm letting this son of a bitch go until the date. Usually, you guys know by now I've got a full big Duck Dynasty beard, but I did trim it down this year. But I'm just gonna let this one go. So I'll have something to participate with. I won't be anywhere close to what Freeway we're probably gonna put out, but we'll see. I know Mr. B's this year will not be participating in the beard shave. I think Mrs. B's was so disappointed when he took that beard off. But Mr. B's does his part anyway. So, have you liked the apnea music on STD? Yes, I have. I've enjoyed that, and I like what you're doing with it. And Snorlord was very gracious to give that to you. Mr. B's, appreciate that, man. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. You know what? It's you and 2-4 and a lot of the new people that are here that keep coming back, but it's you guys that have been here since we started this, and you've been along for the ride, and it's been great, and I appreciate that. You guys know how much I appreciate you. So, no, she was not. I obviously know. Dev Denar, you don't know what you're talking about. It's for a good reason. We grow these beards so we can shave them off and raise money for the charity. It's all done for charity, 100%. Anyway, dude, your beard looks very good, and the eyes are very majestic. Well, thank you very much, Sugar Cube. I appreciate that. Take care of yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're done for the day. I got about quarter after 11 my time, so with that, I'm going to call it a day. Again, take my pup for a walk, check out some shit online. I do have to call Buck Brown. Okay. Everybody that has my phone number, I need you to start texting me in the next 15 minutes to call Buck, please. So I do not get distracted. Mind Melt Diaries, you subbed. Appreciate that, man. I'll take the sub. Appreciate that a lot. Hopefully we're up over the 12,100 mark. I think we needed 2 subs to get over 12,100. Hopefully we hit that today. That'd be good. Let's just keep this climbing. The channel seems to be back in the algorithm again. We're doing okay with our subs and our likes. I'm more interested with the likes. I appreciate that. So, guys, hit the like button. Appreciate that. But with that, you know what? We're gonna call it a day. If you're just coming in now, man, and you're late, I'm sorry. We're all done for the day. Look at that. Mr. Bees is already texting me to call Buck. That's awesome. Thank you, Mr. Bees. I appreciate that. And with that, guys, I'm just going to bugger off and get on with my day. You guys do the same. Hope you're safe. We'll see you down the road, man.